44 here, Macho Man. 44. DDP, what are we saying?
Younger than I think, so I'm going to go like 30.
I reckon he must be 40 here. Yeah, I'm going 40, bang on.
41 is DDP.
That's another thing to add, isn't it? It's been oversaid. But he's 41 and having this renaissance and having this fucking moment in his career. Like, it's impressive, isn't it? Like, there's time. I can still do it. I've got a year, Matt.
How old's Dylan, Matt? 39?
What are we going for, James?
Yeah, he switched to the jeans at this point, hasn't he? Instead of like the
pure chafing in them jeans, how Gareth, innit? Let's go on. Oh, he's got the suit creme ready, DDP.
In the living room, Nitro was on, and they were out doing the fucking that hooty hoo thing, right? And obviously they just keep saying that over and over, don't they? And I remember my mum came into the room, and she like watched it for a couple of seconds. She just said, "Simon, what is this shit?" It's like, that's the only time she ever like broke with wrestling was that. Just like that's it. The No Limit Soldiers are not.
Brad Armstrong, though, a member of the No Limit Soldiers.
Yeah.
That was a real thing. Yeah.
The other favourite bit from this aisle is where like Savage is going mad in the aisle, and he's like, it's after that, going to Hogan's house and wash his car and kiss his ass comment, and Savage is like, Virgil to the side, and like no, Randy, he's not called Virgil anymore. I haven't noticed. Like I was buzzing off that as well, laughing my head.
That great weapon at a spray paint can, which I don't think can weigh too much, but DDP sells it, doesn't he? Like he goes down like a sack of spray.
I was going to say, Ben, at the live show, I'll clock you with it, better it. Is
that going to be after you acknowledge me, mate? Or is that going to be the big heel turn?
It will. I'll see you later.
Hello, and welcome to Spotlight, the official podcast of GRAPPL. We've got a fancy intro there. I'm Benno. Gareth's muted. And that's Matty.
And I'm muted. And I'm Gareth.
Hey.
Oh, I'm Matty.
You muted me. You muted me.
I did. It's my fault. Sorry, I should have unmuted you again. Apologies. And you know, somewhere JP is eating a Turkish dessert and Egyptian dessert and a punch in the air somewhere, eating some kind of TK. We have fun, don't we, Matty? Very much enjoyed that show.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. That's some good editing you put together there, Ben. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, the rest of it's crap. The best bits.
Like a trailer of a movie, that's just all the best bits, and then fuck it off then. Well, no, that is, we had a great time and great choice, and I say just a great time going back in time. They've the NWO, Benno.
Why does it always end up being the age game with us every time without fail? Steph was proper shocked by JJ Dillon because we were all like, like 55. That's about right. She was like, no, I thought he was like 75. Like at that point,
so he's still young to Steph, like at least, yeah. Bloody hell! But I mean, if anyone hasn't heard that, I mean, I was big on James J. Dillon and his promo skills, mate. These wrestlers these days better take note because he was fucking
Roddy Piper
good in that angle.
mate.
You start with Roddy Piper again, Benno. This is the legend.
Save that for behind the paywall.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Like my milk and cheese hate, that's where that belongs. But yeah, fun times, Gareth, going down memory lane on that one.
1997, isn't it, mate? It's always
the GRAPPL,
back to the happy place. That one, like fucking, no matter which TV channel you're turning on at that time period, class. So just brilliant. Just like we said on the show, just getting the rise of DDP and some of the last good stuff for Randy Savage, and then it all intertwines into like the NWO stuff and the Sting stuff. Just fucking glory days, isn't it? Absolute belter.
Only, like we said, Matty, only 3 years later, or 3.5 years later, DDP's being a stalker with The Undertaker. Speaking of which, our second favourite year, as we've gone right into the plugs, 97 was our old favourite. It's now 2001. You can be JP this week, Matty. What have we got on deck for the end of the week as a 2001, a Fed Odyssey? Are we calling it that? Continues.
It is, yeah. It's continuing.
Inviting a very much requested guest back, aren't we?
Yeah, we're in space, Benno, and delving further into that Odyssey in space there as our old friend Michael Hamflet is going to join us the weekend as we review and break down the Invasion pay-per-view, Benno. So it's a stack
July
card.
2001.
July 2001. It's a stack card, and it's one of them that I always say as well, which we'll talk about probably on the show, it done an absolutely incredible buy rate. So can you imagine if they actually had the big stars that were coming in, that could have come in, it would have cracked 1 million buys, no bother, mate. But it's going to be interesting to go back and watch this card in full for sure.
Maybe it'll get up to the point where AEW are at the minute, maybe, mate, that at some point, you know, the WWE could have been just as successful under Vince McMahon's banner. But yeah, I can't wait to have Flutter at the weekend to do that again. And then we're doing Survivor Series 2001, and then we're done with 2001. We're never doing it again. And to be honest,
we're doing the Rumble at some point. Next Rumble, that's the last one, because you usually need to be turned off 92 into 2000. That's the proper Rumble, not 92.
All right, well, we're definitely not doing 2002. How about that?
That's fair.
To be honest, the only reason I want to get Hamfoot on is so that you and him can like talk like stories of more American snacks and stuff like that. I can get my old school projector out and show slideshow pictures from the holidays. That's pretty much my plan. And we'll all make plans for Vegas next year. Sorted.
We all need to put up an American picture that when we were there. We'd all put one up as some of these just sure. Yeah, definitely, mate. Great.
Oh, well, I was laughing to myself on the pre-show when I saw you holding a small cup, and I was like, "Oh God, he's gone for the little gulp," and then it was actually a Tim Hortons, so it was like
not the same,
still in that territory. If it's not a big gulp, it's a North American coffee.
There you go. That's what I'm going with.
You're still getting it then. You're still getting your withdrawal symptoms from the big gulps.
Oh yeah, 100%. I need that like rush of coffee. Steph was saying today, like she when I was over there, I said I was a little bit sick the first few days I was there in Toronto, and I took like their version of like I think it's either aspirin or paracetamol, Advil. Somebody tell me which one of those two it is. Probably should have known before I took it.
I associate aspirin with Americans for stuff like that.
I think, honest to God, it knocked me on my arse. Like for about like a week, I was going to Steph, why am I so tired all the time? Like what's up with me? When I went for a drink with WH, I was fucking shattered by the end of the night because I was mixing fucking beer with it as well. Those American drugs are like 10 times stronger. She was saying she took some today for a headache, I think, and it literally knocks you on your arse. Like that's why when you watch the adverts and when you watch like an American program and like the small print at the end goes on for like 20, it never stops to shock me that it's like how is that still a thing? It's like a full book, like your book on the pre-show, you know. You think they could?
Yeah,
still the best
heavy stuff. Oh,
Abdul Cold and Flow. Lethal stuff, that, mate. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Mix it with some drink and you can have it a cracking night. So yeah, throw that in there as well. But
I forgot to ask you. I was going to ask you to bring some melatonin back. Sarah fucking lives off that to get to sleep of the night. You can't get it over here, but you get legal in Canada. Her brother's always having to send that.
What does it do? Just knock it out.
Knock it out. Fucking best night's sleep she ever has.
She's not into Ovaltine then, Gareth, no?
She's like JP's addiction stories when it comes to the
mellow babes, is it?
Oh, I love that story where JP's like, I put a stone on this shit. How'd that happen? Oh, it's the Ovaltine. Like, it's lethal stuff.
That tub of Ovaltine that he had about that big on the top of his fridge. Like.
Proper loved it, didn't he? But yeah, obviously JP's not here with us this week, so it means it's the three of us once again. And the format last week worked really well. We had Steph on for a bit as well, who run through writings and stuff. Definitely check out the Substack if you want to follow up on all of that stuff. But we kept it casual last week, lads, so I think we should do it again, talk some of the big topics in wrestling going down at the minute. Obviously we'll get to the headline story here, which is somehow I'm doing a podcast here with Matty and Gareth. One of them's seen the G1 and one of them's seen Monday Night Raw, and I'm not going to tell you which one, but it's not going to be what you expect, folks. You can probably figure that out. I don't know what's happened here. Matty just likes wrestling for points, I think is what we've figured out, and Gareth's just a big fan of Dominic Mysterio. Is it the draw that drew you in? If not Big Drew, fucking hell. It's going to be an all-round the Arza show today, Matt.
Oh, what's going on here, Gareth? It must be Benno big and Drew up too much, Gareth, that you thought I'll have to check out what he's actually doing in a full segment here, not just clips off.
That's why I'm scared.
Yeah,
but I've got the.
Let's see how good he really is.
Great, that's the answer. But I've got a YouTube thumb there. Either way, if Gareth goes full scorched earth on it, or if you go full scorched earth on the G1, I'll have a YouTube clip, make the thumbnail ready to go, lads. So I'm ready with the hot button when you are. But speaking of hot button issues, might as well start where the big conversation's been over last week. We teased it, didn't we, on Weekend Show, Matty? We reviewed Dynamite from this week, and MJF and Will Ospreay and the 1 hour, 59 minutes 59 seconds match. And we were like, no, just we'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll wait for Gareth to do the real deep dive and go into it. And then me and you spent about 25 minutes on it, going through the ins and outs of it. And then only for Gareth to finally listen to the weekend show over the weekend and go, oh, fuck, have I got to watch that again? Which made me realise my league subject here, which is, was MJF Ospreay the best match in Dynamite history? I think based on weekend show, me and Matty are going to be a no, but excited to hear what you've got to say, Gareth. But I think I can guess based on your review of our weekend show on Friday.
It just blows my mind that that's even that's part of the conversation. Like this idea that it's like the best match in Dynamite history. It's not even. I don't think it's even in Will Ospreay's top 100 matches, is it? Like, I don't genuinely, I genuinely don't think it is. Like,
this is the clip, Matty. This is the clip. Let's go. Overrated in big letters. I can picture it now. Picture of Will Ospreay looking sad. I will. Hope you're enjoying your flight home. Anyway, go on.
He shouldn't be looking sad because he's had a million matches that are fucking fantastic compared to this. I don't. Again, you know what I'm like. I'll stay off social media and things like that to avoid spoilers, or so I miss a lot of kind of like the in the moment discourse. But if people are talking about this has been like the best at AEW, I don't know where they're coming from. Like it just, to me, it struggled to hold my attention. Like to be honest, like it was one of those where I wasn't doing anything else, just like literally sitting down to watch it. And as the time was ticking through, I was just starting to just like increasingly just pick my phone up and just like look at other shit on my phone while the match was going on. I thought it was good kind of thing, but it was like, well, did you say this on? I think you said this on the weekend show. Did you say like 3.75 4-star range kind of thing? I think you maybe said Benno, and that's exactly where I was sat at with it. I thought,
which isn't bad, is it? But
it doesn't make it a shit match. It's a good match kind of thing, but it wasn't mind blowing. I think the big take I just had from it was, I think it just sort of like really solidified in my mind that I just don't think I like MJF anymore. Like, well, I would never paint myself as being the biggest MJF fan. I think that heel character had a lot of positives and a lot of legs with it. I just think it's ruined to the point. His character's ruined to the point that I'm just like watching this match and just feeling like I don't want to see MJF doing this. Why am I watching MJF try to have like a 60-minute classic? Why am I watching MJF like trying to work at 100 mile an hour in the early stages and show that he can like hang with Will Ospreay and think like that's not what MJF is. Like that's not what MJF should be. Like it just totally doesn't fit, and it just, I don't know, just my mind just started to wander into like, who is he? Where does he fit in this AEW world where you've got the likes of Hangman and Swerve and things like that pushing to the I just should have gone the Fed.
I don't think history's going to look kindly on like this MJF front, because for me, like, he doesn't seem to know who he is right now, and he does feel like it's again, never doubt Jamesy, because I think Jamesy was the first on this with MJF. There's just an element of like, he just wants to be loved, really, doesn't he? Like, you can see it underneath everything he does, and he's got this in him where he'll go out there and he'll want to have like the work rate match to show I can do matches like this too, and I'm not just, the character heel kind of guy. And it's like, no, you're kind of forgetting what you should be, mate, which is we were talking on the pre-show about like Cody Rhodes and Kota Ibushi and how Cody Rhodes never really fit New Japan. And like, that's fine, because Cody Rhodes fits doing main event storyteller wrestler, and obviously he had his massive negatives in AEW, but he was never chasing that side of things, whereas MJF just can't help it, can he? He does secretly want those star ratings. He wants that. What did Dave give it? I know we don't like giving it too much attention, but 5 3/4. Yeah, this went. I will say there's been a bit of a controversy this week over cage match, because like unbelievably in this partisan world, AEW match gets rated well, WWE fans carpet bomb it. WWE thing gets rated well, AEW fans carpet bomb it. Like, I think they're trying to sort that out. God help you, got it. There's a reason you don't still run that.
I'm glad I'm out of that ratings game, mate.
Out of the game. That's why there was never a 0 on GRAPPL as well. Would have upset the mat. But you probably would have been dealing with a lot of quarter-star ratings from people who are like literally so tribal they can't help themselves. And that's absolutely not what we were saying on the weekend show and not what you were saying. But yeah, I'm totally with you. Like, I'm looking at it now, and again, with that in mind, cage match now, after all the conversation died down over the weekend of was this the greatest Dynamite match ever? The 113th best match from AEW. So, I think the answer is no. Resoundingly, and I know that's not just Dynamite, but still, like, it was never never even a consideration for me, Matt. I don't know about you.
No, the first one that comes to mind, I think I said in the week show, is Brian versus Kenny Omega from the first Arthur Ashe show. Like, that just blew that away, you know, for atmosphere, for just that like visual of a full stadium. And I'm not going there, but it all added to that, how big first time dream match as well was it. That was as well. So I mean, that just shit all over that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to miss the opportunity to do it again. Yeah,
but I agree with you. Sorry, but I agree with you. There's like MJF thinks there's right. I've nailed being the character, the edgy, like on the mic kind of stuff. I've got to try and do this, and it's like, but he's always been like that on the slide. Even back in his indie days, he was kind of wrestling like this. He toned it down a bit, like obviously in the Punk feuds, even the Cody feuds, because he had them big angles. But then it's just going against what he said on the mic as a character that he's not asked about these star ratings when the real life guy is. It's just a weird hybrid. And I like MJF though. I don't hate him.
Me too.
Anyway. Yeah,
he's so confused about who he needs to be at this point. Definitely. Like I think history's going to look really negatively on this run that we all sat through 18 months of him as a fake babyface, where the point of the babyface character was, oh, I'm a dastardly heel, aren't I, like Eddie Guerrero, and now he's a dastardly heel again, and people are still cheering him because, well, he's just doing the same shit he was doing as a babyface. He's just obviously, and it's becoming across, trying desperately to reset things and go back to that heel. I'm not even saying I wouldn't do that because I hated the babyface run that much. I kind of think it is right that he needs to go back to a heel, but it's maybe just like the way they've done it and the fact that it's in an angle with Daniel Garcia, which feels, you know, mid-card, like that being enough reason for MJF to go back on everything he said over the last 18 months, plus just the acceptance that the last 18 months has been a failure, the acceptance that the Adam Cole stable has been a failure, and now he's kind of in this weird place where he's, doing this with Ospreay and chasing it, and it worked for some, and it worked for we talked about it, to work for the ratings, clearly, you know, that first hour held up really well. They had a really good Dynamite rating at a time where we're going to talk about later. They need, you know, strong Dynamite ratings, at least in context of what Dynamite's been doing. But yeah, I thought I was going mad. I said it on Weekend Show. I was scared to come out and kind of say it. Didn't love it. But there you go. Yeah, 3 for 3 on that one. I think you're in the same boat, Gareth.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and again, just to sort of like reiterate on that MJF stuff as well. It's like a lot of it's like just hypocritical, but not in a heel being a hypocrite for the right reasons way. You know, it's the stuff later that he was talking about. You know, I'm bothered about TV ratings, not like match ratings and stuff. But then there's like, you're having a match like this that kind of is for match ratings. Okay, it's bumped the TV number, but did that match, or was it the fact that it was the 250th show and things, and it had a bit of buzz about it, and there was, you know, it's sort of like being positioned as a big thing. But even some of the stuff, like when he did that sort of like immediate heel turn, like he was talking about not doing some of the, you know, some of the certain shtick bits and things, and I'm going to be, and he's still doing that stuff as well, really. So it just sort of like just reaffirms this point of not knowing who he is. And I think I said to you in the chat over the weekend that they sort of half teased that babyface thing when he hadn't quite gone he hadn't gone babyface, but they fucked that up because they made the crowd want him to be a babyface. So then they did babyface him. You can't put the fucking toothpaste back in the tube now, kind of thing. Yeah. He was almost like presented as he's the one true heel, like in wrestling. You saw him at like you saw him at events and things, the way he would talk to people and stuff. He was always a heel, always in character, kind of like, and it was that was what was good about him. But that's gone now, and I don't think he can. I don't think he can ever get that back. And I think the style of wrestler that he is now. I said it before, he should have gone to WWE, because WWE fans would eat this shtick up, kind of thing. It's right up their street. It's what that TV audience will be fucking all over. And I can't see him doing anything now for the next 12 months that isn't going to be detrimental to some good stuff that's happening at the top of the card in AEW. It's almost like trying to find a little place for him to fit in there, and can't see where it is myself.
Also, can I mention about, he's confused, and I don't know whether this is MJF or Khan or whoever here. It's but backwards to me as well. When he was a babyface, Gareth, remember he'd done that Hechicero match and the promos, which we laughed about, like the carry on, wink, wink. I'm wrestling an unnamed, I don't care who it is, it's a joke type of thing. That's him as a babyface. Yet the first promo he cuts when he wins the coveted international title, he's going to defend it in CMLL in Arena, Mexico. I'm glad to go and defend it. So where do you want to be? Yeah, it's just, that's in the space of like 3-4 weeks. It's all all over the show.
It's all undercooked. It's like if you're gonna bring MJF back and make him a heel, the most impactful way to do it was when he made his comeback. Instead, he was on telly for a month and a half or however long it was, working a babyface program with Hedge Zero. It's like, come on, lads! There's clear. Maybe it was like this isn't working. Let's call an audible. Which again, maybe we're getting to the right of the two bad options. It's clearly the better option than him just trying to continue to swim the stream with this babyface character. But the damage is done for me with him as a character. He's a bit like Moxley. Like, we haven't really talked about Moxley much on the show recently. One, where the fuck is he? Maybe he's off he's where CM Punk clearly was over the last few weeks, getting a hair transplant in Turkey. I don't know. Punk changes his hairstyles a lot. I'm not sure
every week.
Conspiracy theory, but where's he fit when he comes back? It's like doing more grey. The picture might as well go black and white when Blackpool Combat Club have those 6-man matches for how much I'm interested in them. He's another one. Just get out of his way. Let him be like a main event, babyface. Let him be his own.
Brian do something interesting.
Maybe he's not interested in doing anything, because that's what it feels like right now when you looked at Forbidden Door and the different murmurings you kind of hear with him. But there's a couple. He's another one. Doesn't really fit.
But again, he doesn't feel like he's had anything to sink his teeth into, particularly. Again, I think it's been one of the things that we've talked about before is that's detrimental with the Blackpool Combat Club stuff, is that there's been feuds that maybe been collective things where they've had multi-man matches and things like that. But Mox is at his best when he's got some one-on-one kind of aggressive feud to kind of sink his teeth into, really. And unless I'm fucking grossly missing something there, I don't feel like he's had one for six months, unless it's just my old age brain coming here, kicking in here, and me just not remembering it. But
Orange Cassidy, the last one, probably last year. That was last August. I can remember years.
But it's a lot of holding insert belt here and doing open matches, did with the IWGP title as well. Did it with, I think it's the international title. It could have been the Continental for all fucking I know at this point. But that's kind of just the little thing they pushed him into. It was just, he comes out, gets a hot reaction, everyone's like, oh, it's Jon Moxley, and then it's just a kind of paint by numbers match, or like I say, it's some kind of 6-man.
But also as well, it to me, this always comes back to the promoter, to the booker. It's I've said it a long time about Khan, and I'm not just sticking the boot in. When you give every wrestler free reign to do what they want and go and wrestle over where they want to, eventually you're going to need them all. And then if you get a disconnect with them, then they're not just going to be asked, are they? Unless it's something they really want to do. You can't just start putting your foot down when you want to. You should, but it doesn't work for me, that. It's you just let them do whatever they want, and he's got his few he looks after. But I don't know, mate.
There's positives and negatives, that is. And it's Brian, there's a positive there. Brian, if it was up to him, and I'm sure the sickos would love it, but he'd be out there working indies, wouldn't he? Working I know you hate that line, Matty, but but if he had his choice, he'd be on Dynamite working interesting people. He'd be Daniel Makabe, he'd do that match, but post-retirement with him. But it feels at least for his retirement run, he's being sat down and gone, no, mate, you're working the world champion, and we're putting you in the spot you should have probably been in when you came in, and we're doing that instead. That's that's the way it probably should have always been with him. To your point.
Yeah, 100%. And that this world title match, I think I said on the weekend show, sorry we're going all over the place here, but I think he wins. That's what we're doing today. Yeah, Gareth, I think he wins. We were talking about this on the weekend show. What do you think? Do you think it's a last hurrah for Brian, or is it solidifying Swerve as, the guy?
Yeah, I think we sort of just mentioned it on Spotlight last week, didn't we? That it could go both ways. I feel, I want it to be Brian. I feel like it should be Brian. Personally, that I think that's the way they should go. That's doesn't necessarily mean that's the way they will go. That, but I think to me, there's more juice in that last. This is the world title run. The kind of having the actual star, the big genuine big star on top, with that storyline behind him of I'm breaking down, but I still want to be the best in the world, I'm hanging on to this belt kind of thing, you've got to beat me for it, sort of thing. There's a great fucking story there, and the matches that go along with it, really. And in reality, if Swerve beats him, what more do you what more do you keep having to do with Swerve to kind of elevate him into that position of, I think they've pitched him at a certain level now. I think then then they can revisit the Hangman stuff, can't they?
That's what I mean. He doesn't lose that on Swerve at all.
To help hold him there and maybe elevate him a bit more. But in an era where you're trying to kind of like boost crowds, boost ratings, that Bryan Danielson story is a bigger one for me, and like a more engaging one at the absolute top level. Especially if you're in a world with all these fucking belts that half of them mean nothing, you can really establish the world title as being the fucking world title there, and that's in that scenario for me, like Bryan Danielson holding that aloft at Wembley. That's the way I'm going.
I'd be into that. It's kind of counter to my kind of intuition, which is you've just got to stick the landing and stick with, we're in a rebuilding period. You've got to stick with Ospreay. You've got to stick with Swerve. You've got to stick with Hangman. Like, they should be the main characters of AEW for me. But you can boost that, with like a last hurrah Danielson, what do we call it? Winter of the Dragon, let's call it that, rather than Summer of Punk kind of run. And then whoever does beat him, and it would be one of those three for me, then they're, elevated further as well. That's the point in it. That's what I always hated from AEW from the start, where it was like the books were like, oh no, we got to put Private Party over, or oh no, we don't want the belts. Like, we've got to put it on like the young. No, if you have them and then lose them later, everyone wins them. You're actually putting people over them rather than it meaning nothing. But that's kind of been an issue with AEW from the start. But I was going to say, while we're on it and we're talking that like all in, it's one of our favourite subjects on here. I've got it down here as one of the subjects we're going to talk about today. Tickets have actually moved a little bit, lads. Don't know if it was you four getting your tickets in order, Matty. I don't know whether you've been on Ticketmaster or not, but we did say when we talked like all-in tickets that maybe now the card was coming together and there might be a little bit of movement. Payday was a big one we all talked about, wasn't it, as a possibility? And WrestleTix have given us an update. It was 11 days since the last one, but in those 11 days, they've sold 1,191 tickets, which isn't gigantic when you look at the scale of Wembley as a whole, and that it's set up for 51,314 people. But it's a damn sight more movement than we've seen in literal months. It kind of tells you that, like, because it was getting to the point where I was looking at going, I think they'll hit 50, but I almost felt like I was convincing myself of that, because every time we looked at one of these maps, it was like the movement was like drips and drabs, and there was one point where hilariously it went down again because it turned out like there was a section that was accounted for that shouldn't have been in the stats that everybody's using. But I don't know, what you put that down to, Gareth? Like finally moving at least a little bit. It's positive. Like if they sold that many, every 10 days for the next, how many weeks is it now? 4.5 weeks we were talking about, like, that would make a bit of a dent. You'd probably want it to, if we want to hit that magic 51,000 number and above, you'd probably want to do better than that. But it's an indication that maybe something's changing a little bit.
I think it was when you were away, actually. Like I was like talking when I've been like looking into it, and you sort of see for the big event ticket sales where they don't sell out immediately like that, where you almost get that kind of like U-shaped curve kind of thing when it comes to ticket sales, where you get the highest volume in the first period, and it goes sort of trickles along, and then you get probably about like 30-40% of your sales coming in within the last month, and it just feels that's probably a bit really, everybody we talk to, over the weeks and months, we've all been in the same boat where we're like, why are we buying them now kind of thing. So if you scale that up and times that by however many thousand wrestling fans went last year and things, loads of people just thinking along the same line as us. Just wait. We know it's not going to sell out. Let's, see if there's see if you can get a deal. Just hang on, see how cheap you can get them at the back end. See how the land lies. See if the card's actually been built to any degree. So I just think the mindset's been different this year. Whereas last year it was all about the fucking hell, a massive show in Wembley, and like AEW's was hotter then, but it was probably sold more on as a massive wrestling event at Wembley kind of thing. There was that I've got to be there. This is mind blowing that this is actually happening. Whereas this year it's we've done it last year. There's a few more like things that we need to like take into account and factor into consideration here. So I think it just has been that like delayed element, and you probably are getting people now looking at it and going, the card's coming together, the matches look all right. You can still get all the tickets for like 30 quid and things like that. Been deciding, maybe putting a bit of dough away and things like that to be able to do it and stuff. So I'd expect that that's gonna, shoot up, by a bigger volume than that recent increase over the next month. I think there's going to be a decent flurry there as it sort of pulls more towards the 50,000 mark. But even that, you say like, it's only 1,100 and things, but based on an average ticket there, it's another 100 grand in AEW's pocket, that just by selling 1,100 tickets kind of thing. So every time they do that, it's just, there you go, more revenue sort of thing. So even these what appear to be a small increment, they make a big difference to the bottom line.
And we should always catch that, because that was a lot of the comments on our last YouTube video. It's like 40,000 still a massive number, and I think we always say it. I was going to say that the conversation. Yeah. We know, like, that's gigantic. That's almost full Goodison Park. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people. 40,000 to 50,000 people, like, that is gigantic, and it's in the realm of wrestling shows in the top 10. Like, it's incredible. But in context, it's still also true that that's half of what the number allegedly was last year. So, clearly the softening interest is there in some ways, depending on, how much it improves it. And it can also be true as well, like, again, we know there's the Taylor Swift setup, isn't there, at Wembley, so they're never going to set it up. And we said it at the time when it was announced that it was going to be, a lesser capacity than last time. That kind of covers things a little bit, doesn't it? It's nice plausible deniability. They don't necessarily have to open more than these 51,000 seats that they've got open at the minute. They can. I think they can get up to like 60, 65, maybe more. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not going to be a full capacity Wembley, but that might be the sharp shock some get. Like, just looking at our Discord today and people talking about it, there's a lot of people, like you said, Gareth, like us, who are just like, I'll leave it to the day. I'll keep an eye on StubHub. Be careful you don't get stung, because those NXT Heatwave tickets were going for $8 at one point, Matty, and I let it go. And ended up paying $25. And I can't get over it, man. Spent $25 to watch that abomination.
So I think that's pure cheap, though. I think that's
don't care. I'd rather have gone to the pub and got some fucking chicken wings instead. But like, there is something to that though. Like, they might just not open up more sections, and then all of us who think we're going to leave it last minute are going to be fighting over those last tickets. It's not good. There is another like news point attached to this, where it appears the Cardiff prices have been lowered a bit. Good to see, because they shouldn't be struggling to fill 4,000 seats. That's ridiculous. I know it's the week of Wembley. I know people have made plans already, but that one was actually a little bit more shocking to me. But apparently, they've dropped a few of the balcony seats, I think it is, in there, so they'll probably end up shifting. But
how many people think that at the minute?
The last update we had was there was 1,000 left to shift. It was 3,000 of the 4,000 gone, but that was a little while ago now. We're about 2 weeks away from that number. And yeah, there were tickets. I think the cheapest getting was 170, and now it's 85. So that might make it the Drew McIntyre trick. Gareth, conspiracy theories. That's what they've done there. But the point I was going to make is, like, maybe some of us, like me, are thinking, oh well, I'll leave it. There'll be cheap tickets on StubHub. We might be fighting over the last few tickets, if it might turn out to be a sellout of the capacity they give. I'm sure they'll take anyone's money, but yeah, it's not going to be like last year where there were £3 tickets going on the day.
I couldn't believe that. When you said that, £3, if you literally leave it to, like, as you're walking in, the actual box office open and stuff like that.
I'm not sure you can leave it that late over here, because I was trying to sell an offset ticket last week on StubHub, and they took the listing down like 5 hours before the gig. I was fuming. I was convinced I was going to sell that day. So I don't know. So nobody take our word for it and stand outside Wembley playing the refresh game, and then it turns out you can't get in. Double check those terms and conditions. But it was true last year anyway, yeah.
Who's blinking first then out of us? Us three, me and Gareth were together. You blinking first then? Or are you waiting?
I'll be waiting. I always think something will come up. I always think there'll be something. And if not, I'll be in the pub over the road. We'll set like a designated meeting point for all the GRAPPL fans.
That point though that you say about the Taylor Swift thing, like, are they? I'm assuming they're using her stage and her setup kind of thing in some way, like big video screens or something. If that's because,
or something similar, you use the same space maybe.
The ramp's a different way in it than last year. It's actually side on instead. You know what I mean? It was smaller. I think it's down the other end.
Because if that's something they can use, and it's like projecting different graphics or imagery onto there or something, and make it look a bit more like WrestleMania or something like that, then it's not going to almost matter that there's 50,000 in there. If there's a fucking big ramp and there's like all the great visual, and then the stadium looks packed around it, then that's probably going to look better than last year. And that shitty like entranceway, that was rubbish, wasn't it? Like
no one on the floor could see it. Everyone's posting on the Discord today their selfies from on the floor. Like, more than a few GRAPPL people were on the floor. JP was as well, wasn't he? And everyone had the same complaint. I couldn't see a fucking thing. It wasn't worth the extra money. It wasn't worth it. And part of that was that you couldn't see the entranceway.
100%. And we had good seats, didn't we? Technically, like we were like first, like raised tier, weren't we? But I was looking at the screen though. I don't know if
so you had an empty one next to you, and you didn't invite me to come sit down there. Don't forget things, mate. Don't worry.
I mean, there was 4 of us there, like Gareth was right there next to me.
Yeah, no, you had 5 seats, yeah. All right. It's all right. I wasn't going to pay you 200 quid, mate, was I? I paid 30 and I was happy with that. But, like, they could go full Taylor Swift though. Like, did you see that when she played Anfield and like they were literally selling? Is it the Anfield Road end they were selling like tickets to, which was behind the stage? And there were all these fucking kids sat there watching Taylor Swift, aka just listening to her. And every now and then she'd like poke her head round and give them a wave type of thing. And people were still spending like fucking 100 quid
people
on it.
People do it, won't they? Yeah.
You might as well have sat in Stanley Park for that. You'd have still learned.
Yeah. People did. Yeah. There was people like on picnics and all kinds, wasn't there, Matt?
Yeah.
The weekend. Look good. I wish I'd gone.
100%. Big event, wasn't it? Yeah. I say you should do that for all in there if you don't get in, Benno. Just sit on the box park with a picnic and a few beers.
That's it. But as always, we'll be keeping tabs on the Wembley stuff and keeping tabs on our excitement as well. It's one of the minor topics we've got here, but like very quickly, we're excited for Blood and Guts this week. That's the bump on the road, isn't it? Well, I just want to get that out the way. Anyone's seen Dynamite already? Skip ahead 3 minutes, but like fucking. They're never good, these matches, are they? Watch this age terribly, and it'd be great. But like, even just looking at the graphic and seeing the acclaim they're in it, I'm just like, let's just get past it. I'll look forward to the moment when Swerve and Hangman lock eyes in that cage. That's going to be fucking great for 5 minutes. And then it'll just be a typical modern War Games match, won't it? It's such a weird match this year. It's such a fucking, just a backwards way to get to it, isn't it? It's the old WWE trope of, we've got a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view coming up, so we've got to have a Hell in a Cell. Like, I don't know what your interest level is in it going into tomorrow, Gareth. Like I say, we'll keep it brief, but I don't see it as a big Dynamite anymore. There used to be weeks where we'd hold Spotlight off, be like, we'll wait till Thursday because it's a big Dynamite this week. Whatever, let's just get past it. Let's get back to the Wembley build.
Yeah, I think just as a match, it just feels like a bit random, a bit thrown together, and like, you know, the participants in the match, it just seems a bit like, I don't know, just a bit like weird logic of in terms of how they've been pulled into it. And it's kind of, you know, I suppose it's good to see a match like this where there's some different faces in it than you'd normally see, so pretty much on the Team AEW side. But it's also one of those that just feels like, well, why is this happening? What's the stakes kind of thing? What's the purpose of it? To what? To wait, like AEW wins? What do they win? Like, kind of thing. Like, or the Elite win? What did the Elite win? Like, I don't know. It just, it's not like it's, I don't know. It feels like there's anything of consequence there at the other side of this match, and they had they had a Elite AEW match recently that was in the same ballpark, wasn't it? Literally, just like, what does this mean? Nothing. Kind of like, so. If they're not invested in the consequences of it or the outcome of it, then why should I be, really? And I'm the same as you. It's all about Hangman and Swerve and being a vehicle to get to another, route in their story, because, it seems like they're setting up FTR books for Wembley and things. So it looks like acclaims are getting thrown out of the window there. So it's not like it's building to some like heated element for that either. And then obviously, Mark Briscoe's there with his ROH title sort of thing. Like, you think, well, so the ROH guy's in the AEW team, and that doesn't seem to sort of like fit either. I don't know, just not one to get me massively excited, that one.
There'll be big spots, as Ewan said here in the chat. Yeah, Darby and Mark Briscoe will be going for it. Based on that fucking match this week on Collision, Darby's definitely back to full strength. I think it's probably fair to say with some of the bumps he was taking from the Beast Mortos on Collision. Might talk that a bit later, but like, yeah, outside of that, it's going to be a modern War Games match, isn't it? I'm just they don't interest me one bit, really. Yeah, it's just kind of. Yeah, something we've got to get through.
I will say, though, I think it will hold the ratings. If it drops, it'll only be a bit.
True.
I think because it's a big thing, isn't it? I think it will do a decent number, all things considered here, what we're saying. Definitely. It's a big promoted match, but I agree with Gareth. it's just, why are we doing it? Even I know people don't like it. It is too WWE, but even if the Elite win, they literally run AEW. There's no Christopher Daniels. Do something like that in the story, at least to make it have stakes.
That sounds worse. Actually, I'm glad they're not doing it. I don't want stakes anymore. Sounds terrible.
It gets Chris Daniels off telly, though, doesn't it? So
that's a win, to be fair. Can the Bucks go with him? Fucking hell. But you are right. It probably will at a time where it matters. Because again, like that's what we learned, isn't it, from Dynamite last week? It's a having a long match that goes across different segments seems to work for AEW when it's a prestigious feeling match. And despite my misgivings on the stip, I think it still has that going for it, doesn't it? Still kind of has that brand equity. So
can I just say as well about Swerve and Hangman? I think. And rightfully so for me, you still need to tease that you won't get loads of interaction with them. I don't think you will. I think you'll get a stare down, maybe even a little physical battle, but I don't think you'll get loads of it. Something will happen to separate them, and I think they'll continue to slowly build it. Here's where they start and finish the match now after they've just said that.
No, that's the problem with doing Tuesday spotlights. But I hope everybody enjoyed Blood and Guts. Did you see the other, speaking of TV ratings, the other little news nugget that came out today that apparently Tony Khan is planning on meeting with David Zaslav at the Olympics. I mean, I didn't realise the Olympics were on this year. I know it's an even numbered year, so I probably should have figured that out.
You're not a sports guy, I bet.
I know. In my head, they worked on a different thing than the Euro. The way the Euros and the World Cup miss each other by 2 years. I was convinced there was a gap like that. But this coming from Sean Ross Sapp that apparently Tony Khan and David Zaslav are going to meet in Paris during the Olympics. Obviously to talk the TV deal, which apparently there's been different reports today about. Like it's close, it's deal done. Based on Fightful's report, and it sounds like nothing's been inked yet. And they're going to be having a couple of croissants and a cup of coffee and watching the Olympics. What do you reckon Tony Khan's favourite sport is in the Olympics?
I was going to say, what do you reckon the meeting at? Bit of amateur wrestling, Gareth. Bit of fencing. What are we going for here?
I quite like the weightlifting, I quite like the strongman weightlifting stuff. I get into that most times whenever I throw the Olympics on. Maybe it's the old gym head in me, but I quite enjoy that bit of drama there. Wrestling adjacent too, kind of works. What do you reckon, Gareth?
A bit of clean and jerk.
Yeah, like hang on.
It's not weightlifting, mate.
I was a big Olympics, but back in the day, the Olympic Christian, that's the proper name, isn't it,
the game, the 2004 PlayStation 2 game, Athens.
Oh, were you tap A and B?
What a game to run! What a game, mate!
I'd be like stomping on the floor while I'm pressing the buttons, like thinking it would go faster.
You didn't have it in your hands. You put it on the floor, as you say, and just go like that, and just tap the controller.
There was, my cousin was so good at it that I'm not talking the PS. I think it was on the SNES, the one we had like an old Olympics track. I think it was literally called Track and Field, maybe. That was on the
Spartacus, that one, Benno.
It used to pop up on the screen saying that like, please unplug your basically accuse you of cheating. Please unplug your device and play the game fairly. Really? Like that. He was just that fucking good at tapping it. Mad skills.
Did you never used to do the old pulling your sleeve over your things so you could you could glide back and forward between the two buttons with your sleeve over it. That was always the technique, but you're avoiding getting blisters and things like that by using the old sleeve. That was the technique, like.
I keep getting videos popping up.
You used to be too young for this. Daley Thompson's decathlon. Did you never play that?
One who's Daley Thompson.
Fucking hell.
Right, even I know that. Yeah, Track and Field it was called. Yeah, I get like these ads on it on Facebook now. Facebook just auto plays fucking videos for me, and it's like GTA. It was Vice City and San Andreas, but it's like all these little tricks. It's like, oh yeah, in the tank mission in Vice City, if you like park in front of the tank, everyone just freezes and you can just get in it and drive off on it. Or like there's a train mission on San Andreas. I always used to like fuck up, and there's like they were showing you cheats on that. I was like, I might just go back in time and just play it again, just get it out, just to get back to those levels that drove me mad for fucking months at a time, and follow the tricks. But there you go, we'll get together, we'll have a game of Track and Field, we'll play some GTA. It'll be a good day, lads. We assume job done on this one anyway. Back to AEW at the Olympics, Gareth, in between the whatever they're going to be watching, the Track and Field.
It's like when it comes to like TV deals like this, you just get all this mad speculation and things, and I'm just always like, I'll just wait and see what happens. Like, basically, kind of thing. There's going to be a deal or there's not, and it's going to be a certain value or it's not, kind of thing. And then you can like speculate till the nth degree, about it. It's going to be what it's going to be. So I find it hard to like even like think.
They're not going out of business. We know that.
Speculate about things like this. They're going to get a deal that's of sufficient value that keeps the company fine. It's just how big, how long. They're the nuances that it gets to, and it's it doesn't feel like it's a critical breaking point, or it doesn't feel like there's like no backup agenda there for if things don't necessarily go the right way that they want either. So I'm not. It's not something I'm sweating.
No, and like I'm past the point of like, what's like they're gonna whatever deal they're gonna get's gonna keep them in business for a very long time. This is gonna be I think the one thing you can definitely say, unless everything goes wrong, it's gonna be a profitable company, and there are gonna be some talking heads like Eric Bischoff on that. They're gonna have to walk back some of their rhetoric over AEW's about to go out of business, AEW's done. We're all gonna have conversations, aren't we, about like the value of the deal, and whether the other thing that came out this week was the NBA rights and TNT of WB. They have matched, I think it's Amazon's package that they've gone for on that, and very passive aggressively put a press release out about it, trying to back the NBA into a corner to accept or not. But like obviously that'll have a big knock-on effect on it. Some people were talking on the Discord today, like if that doesn't happen, you could see Dynamite move nights. You could see like a Tuesday Dynamite. That'd fuck up Spotlight, wouldn't it? That'd be fun if that does happen. I'm kind of after that. I want a little bit of like randomness. I want SmackDown on a Monday. I want Raw on like a Sunday afternoon or something like that on Netflix. Okay. I want things to be shaken up next year.
It wouldn't last 5 minutes running head to head with NXT, would it? Come on.
I don't know, mate. Raw's on Sci-Fi next week, so we'll see how that does.
Past the next 2 weeks. It's on
Sci-Fi. Be dusting the zombie off, mate. He'll be coming out again. It could happen, couldn't it? But these are like the knock-on effects that obviously we're going to see. The other thing, like, is rumoured, like, what are they going to do with Rampage and Collision? They had a pretty decent Collision number over the weekend and a pretty bad Rampage number over the weekend. And yeah, there's definitely ideas where Tony Khan seems more open to longer blocks of programme. I could absolutely see that being like a 3-hour block on a Friday. Me and JP are shitting ourselves. That'll be Garrett's favourite 3 hours of the week. That you'll be watching that instead of Dynamite. If we get a 3-hour block of the work rates, where the winner is in no doubt matches that we got on Collision every week. Fingers crossed for you, that one, innit, Gareth?
Well, I mean, the thing with all of that though as well is then once this TV deal's done, the optimist in me makes me think, well, whatever it comes out at, it means that they're going to have like a number that they know they need to like cut their cloth accordingly, and that's when it might be that there's I don't know, it's less than they think, so there's 20 lads whose contracts don't get renewed, who never get used on telly anyway, or something like that. So they just like, they save a bit of money there to make up for some of the money there, which actually might be a positive for them. It means that there's less people to try and kind of like circulate into their product. Or it might mean that they have to make a change to like Rampage and Collision or something like that. It might be a lesser TV deal, but there's less TV time or a merge program or something like that. But I think it's just probably going to be something where once that's solidified, then at least they're going to know, okay, well, what does the next 2 years, 3 years look for us from that standpoint as well, which probably helps them plan a bit better and things, and you're not in kind of like a soft, often felt where it does feel like they're maybe just sort of like throwing stuff out there just to try and like pop a number or maintain a number and things like that. It means that they can kind of like have a course that they can follow, which again is something that they've done in recent weeks or recent months. And then I think anything like that gives them an element of consistency and an element of working towards something, that can only be a positive as well, really. So they're the main things that I'm looking for from the TV deal, more so than what the actual number is or anything like that.
Is this was it you that said it, Gareth? I feel like it was about how, because they got rid of the Elton John song, didn't they, on Collision this week? I feel like it was you, it was somebody else in our group chat where it was just like, what could pay for that? Culling half of the wrestlers who work for AEW.
That was Gareth.
Use that money on that. I wasn't an Elton John fan. I'm also not a fan of the fucking piece of shit music that's replaced it. And yet I've got plenty to say about like the AEW music, but like infrastructure in the words of a very smart man, you know, Gareth. You could realign some of these things, and yeah, if they are really cutting down on like theme music and stuff like that, like no, do that. Spend some money like that Collision taping this weekend. Spend some of that money on some fucking lighting for the background, or like some banners you could hang from the ceiling or something like that. So, like, you particularly, yeah. I want a big AEW Collision banner behind you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, growing a company could, you know, reaffirm some of that money and redistribute it in other places.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That then it becomes a bit more. It's kind of sort of alluding to the point that I was just making there. It becomes, we've got this much money. What's the best way to spend this money to be as effective as we can? Like, and that's when you then, you know, you can put them plans in place. Who knows? They might employ a merch department or something like that because they know what they've got to spend, or they need to like grow the revenue, like based on what obviously Steph was on discussing last week. But it means, okay, well, if we've got this much money to spend, then our roster size can only be this much because we've only got X amount to spend on, you know, like salaries or something like that. Like, it just hopefully just brings a bit more business focus rather than wrestling focus to the product.
Now, instead, what you can do is you can spend all your money on a holograms contract, Matty, and put out that piece of shit that the Mikey Ruckus has. How's that man still got a job? Like, how bad is the AEW music? Like, other than like the original themes, the ones that came out like from elsewhere, or the ones that are done by bands, or the ones that people like fucking Darby Allin brought to them, which I'm ashamed to admit, for the first 3 months of AEW's existence, I thought that was Darby Allin singing his own song. It just sounds like it'd be him, you know. There's a couple of exceptions. I love that from Mikey Ruckus being, yeah, I knew everybody would hate it, but you know, that's just kind of how it goes. And then Elton John is gone and get replaced by one of his crap songs instead. But there we go. Got to put the money in the right places, Matt.
You could, but you're saying that the AEW with the proper bands, not Jericho. We're saying that Jericho's one was all right, wasn't it, at first? But the other ones he used were terrible. But yeah, I mean, I liked the Elton John. I thought that was good. You know, money aside, or whatever, I thought that fit well, and it was kind of like stuck, wasn't it? And just didn't change in it. I don't know. I would
Saturday Night by Wigfield, as Ewan said, could be a nice replacement there instead. You get that cheaper, couldn't you? Oh, that was massive. I went on a family holiday in the 90s to Mallorca, and they were playing it on the dance floor. It was the first time I'd ever heard the song, and then I came home, and all of a sudden it was in the UK chart, and it was like I'd discovered this little indie song, Saturday Night by Wigfield, on a family holiday. I was annoyed when all my mates started listening to it. I was like, oh, hit it Europe first, didn't it? You know,
you couldn't escape that song though, could you?
Oh, yeah. Entirety of the continent.
You could bring back the Nitro Girls to be on the stage doing the Wigfield dance, the Saturday night dance at the start of the show. Like, fucking, all the mums and dads are up doing. Like,
you've got to do the dance now, Benno. Like you've got to do it now.
Remember the dance? I know there's like a stuff forward bit, isn't there? Yeah, there's that one. Yeah. It's a bit. Who was it? Who used to do that celebration? Lee Sharp, was it?
We've done a lot of celebrations. Lee Sharp.
I used to do that one. When I scored the goal for my under 11s team, I'd do the Lee Sharp. So I did it twice. It was a great celebration. that and the Klinsman dive, was that big in your school, Matty? The year that was going on?
Wasn't doing it on the concrete, like, but the best one, the best one was the Roberto Di Matteo for Chelsea, where he just lied on his side and just the all done it. I used to love that one, like, the Italian Gareth. That's what it was, because it was the Italian.
It's all just about the Shearer to me. The one arm.
Yeah, just the border. Tim Cahill was good. Come on, even Gareth can admit that.
It's a Dean Malenko of celebrations, that.
Boots and trunks. Of course, Gareth likes it, Matt.
Joe Malenko, Gareth, we're going to throw that in now. If we're saying Benno with the big gulp, we're going to mention Joe Malenko with you every week now, mate.
Well, there we go. Lessons, any thoughts on Hologram and his fantastic debut? Blood runs cold is all I've got to say about that one. Don't see them. I think Tony Khan loses interest on that by week 3. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they haven't spent too much on the suit. It's not another Max Moon situation, but well. But I did in fairness think the Collision like set up, doing it in that little smaller venue, and you know, kind of having like a louder, just dedicated, smaller crowd, if that's going to be the case, is the move, isn't it? They just need to dress it up a little bit better in future weeks, but we'll see. But yeah, on that note, I've talked a few AEW notes. One man that might be coming to save AEW from getting to the other main topics we got on the sheet here, Matty, is one Bobby Lashley, who's apparently out of contract with the WWE, and from sources no less than Big Dave Meltzer, and I believe Sean Ross Sapp has backed up this reporting as well. There's apparently some interest, at least on the Bobby Lashley and MVP, who's also coming to the end of his WWE contract side, to reform the hair business stable with an eye on possibly do it in AEW. This is because I started with Meltzer on Observer Radio saying the contracts were up relatively soon, when they're saying there was talk of them trying to get into AEW, and obviously that depends on when the contracts are fully up and when they can actually talk with people. But I don't know, I saw a lot of fantasy booking from the Fedheads here, Matty, on what you could have done with the hair business. They could have done a hair business versus bloodline feud, license to print money, that, mate, isn't it? Don't know about that. You could have done like a B pay-per-view with that, I think. That's what I concede. Like, there was maybe, a one-off, here's two stables coming together. That's it, doing it, really. Like, as much as it's a failed Vince project, that failed twice and should have been better than it was, I think people maybe overtalk the idea of like, it should come back and they should try again. Never mind fucking trying it in AEW, and obviously that great in-ring worker Shelton Benjamin's available as well, so the pieces are there. But would you even want to see it, Matt?
To be fair though, Benno, I don't know about the inside of the hair business, but I think the way every time a wrestler comes available, and we all say that AEW, I think AEW need to get a Lashley. I think he's one that they should sign. And I think he'd add like credibility, bit of name value. He's a star. I think all the way. He might fit in with the work rate, young guys that they've got. But what like I've just said there, he can still go for his age. He's not nearly 50. I couldn't believe that. I mean, he looks incredible as well. He's and he can go, and he's an all-rounder.
In 20 years, someone will be doing a podcast going, how old do you think Lashley was in 2024 when he jumped to AEW and won the world title on his first night? And the answer will be 49 or whatever it is.
Mate, I'd do it. Honestly, I think they should sign him. And MVP as well. And I know it's maybe not on the same... I think it's not on the same scale as Cody, but if you can take Lashley and MVP and transport them off WWE TV onto AEW TV, you just don't know. I think they should sign Lashley for sure.
I know Garrett's about to go, so I'm going to let him. But like, I am a fan of Lashley. Like, I've enjoyed his WWE.
Very good.
It's one of those good stories, isn't it? Where it's like, in his youth, he was used badly. He got sick of their bullshit. He left. He went to TNA. He got better. He went back to WWE, and he had himself a nice solid run. A solid run that should have been better than it was, but a solid run nonetheless. MVP, always been a fan of MVP. Seems like a cracking bloke in real life. Chased Chris Jericho into an elevator or whatever the real life story is. That might also be a snafu in trying to get him into AEW as well. I like them both. Shelton Benjamin, he's fucking crap. You think Shelton Benjamin's a good worker, folks? Name me 5 good Shelton Benjamin matches. You fucking can't. He's my new Regal. I'm gonna beat it down like that. Name 5 fucking Shelton Benjamin matches that don't have a ladder in it, or Shawn Michaels. You fucking can't. Stop lying to yourselves. Don't want to see him anywhere near AEW. Lashley and MVP, I've got a little bit more of like an acceptance of it, but I don't know if you're going to say this, Gareth, but like, you could say that about anybody, couldn't you? And the reality is, it's still AEW's got far too many wrestlers, and where would you even find the real estate space for them, even if you are a fan?
100% that. Like, you're looking at it like literally in the last talking point, we're talking about spending your money wisely, spending it on the right roster of wrestlers. It's absolutely not the right decision to bring like Bobby Lashley in, especially at that age now, because like you say, he's a star. If fucking Edge isn't moving the needle, if Mercedes Moné's not moving the needle, don't be throwing big fucking dough at Bobby Lashley because he isn't moving the needle one fucking job.
Big dough Bobby Lashley.
He's likeable though. Like Lashley's likeable, unlike Moné as well though. And Edge, I'm an Edge
is an anti-draw. Edge's numbers go down every time he appears on telly.
I think Lashley's got something special about him. Always liked him. Got that aura. I know it's the buzzword of the month, but I think he's got big time something about him, and I think they could do worse. They could do worse. They could.
I mean,
they could do a fucking damn sight better. That's
who don't get it
with that money.
No one else.
Yeah, they could do a damn sight better by not bringing him in on and sticking him into the mix and like disrupting what they're trying to do at the minute with like fresh new talent and things like that around Will Ospreay and Hangman Page and Swerve and things like that. Throwing Bobby Lashley into the mix at the top of your card, like no one's buying fucking pay-per-views to watch Bobby Lashley against Will Ospreay or fucking Bobby Lashley against Hangman Page. They're not. He's generating no money for your company whatsoever. So don't bring him on board. Like, and I like him. I think he was boss in Impact. I think it was the bits that I've seen of like the good elements of him in WWE have been good, but it's not like that level. It's not like you're bringing somebody in who's fucking amazing on the mic or amazing in ring or is an absolute fucking, Brock Lesnar in the ring or something like that in terms of their working style or something like that. He's got better over the years in a lot of areas, but he's still not someone who you're thinking we've got we've got Bobby Lashley kind of thing. That's a real get for us. It's not.
I think he can stand out though, Gareth, amongst the wrestlers you say. And I know he's different, but I think he could stand out and be protected. Honestly, I'm going all in on Lashley. I think he should go for him. He really should. And even as you're saying there, like Monet's come in big money, done nothing. Okada. So why not? I know you're saying from the business, not more money, but if these can't, give Lashley a go. Just give him a go. And he's not going to cost that much. Like he's thrown contracts for $3.5 million allegedly at them. Be less than that, won't it? So I don't know. I think it's a no-brainer for me. You should give him a go. No-brainer. No-brainer, mate. Honestly, it is. Just give it a chance. Honestly, that's not my new catchphrase. But
it is your new catchphrase. We'll get into Talla Tonga in a minute. We'll get there. I mean, yeah, with him, you could do it, or like Gareth says, you could find the next musclehead who could be in that spot. Obviously,
but he won't push him though, Benno. We said this.
But couldn't you? You could do that. Powerhouse Hobbs, you could push. I guess not. Basically,
how many times did he tried with Hobbs though? This is what I'm saying.
Not very well though. Didn't try very hard.
Yeah, but that's what
Ryan Cage maybe not. But but there are guys like that they could use if you want something different. I mean, again, shouldn't be blind to the racial aspect of it as well. Like part of what MVP's been saying about WWE. Like, have you seen his passive aggressive Instagram comments about not pushing black talent to the top level and thinking that's something to do by the hair business whenever put back together again? There's an element there of there should be more top level African American wrestlers, and there aren't. Swerve is an exception, and he shouldn't be. The WWE haven't made hay with that a lot, and there's a whole I know we're in like a politics corner here, but we're in the an election cycle, and there are demos that you can appeal to, and that get underserved in the wrestling fan base. Hispanic fans get underserved. I think the black population gets underserved as well. So there's an argument there that he could be transported in as somebody you'd have it near that top level. But I think I still end up at the same place as Gareth of just where and why, and wouldn't you rather do that with somebody homegrown instead? And yeah, like I say, I can't. The one point you've made, Matty, that I do kind of agree with. It goes back to the conversation we had about Ricochet going one way and about Ethan Page going the other way. You want these little wins, don't you? You want to be winning in the court of public opinion. Yeah. And like I say, I do think a little bit we undersold, I think, the significance of a Ricochet being willing to leave WWE and go to AEW. I think you want that PR win, don't you? You don't want it all to be the other direction. So that's going to be the temptation. Plus, it's a wrestler he can sign, so that's going to be the other temptation, isn't it, for Tony Khan? And the thing that makes me think it might even happen is there was talk, wasn't there, a few weeks ago that Shelton Benjamin was waiting for a start date with them. I'd certainly take Lashley over Shelton Benjamin. I don't know what the wage difference would be, but I'd be paying Bobby Lashley 10 times what I pay Shelton Benjamin. Sorry, I just like kicking Shelton Benjamin. One of the most bang average wrestlers. Tell me I'm wrong, Matty. One of the most bang average wrestlers of all time. His gimmick was he was a good technical wrestler, so people believed it. Same as fucking Charlie Haas. They weren't good wrestlers.
I mean, he's far from the worst, but he's not the way people go on about him, that he's this great. I know Cesaro, for me, I know Cesaro had the indie cred and stuff like that, but it's another Cesaro to me. Shelton Benjamin should have been the world champion. No, he shouldn't have been. He had a great run. He was IC champion. He was US champion. He was tag team champion. And he has, there's a few in the chat there. That Vengeance 2003 match is brilliant versus Kid and Ray. And there's a few hidden gems with Los Guerreros as well on SmackDown. But once he's into a singles run, Ben.
Not 5 of them, is there, mate?
No, but as you say, even when he's in ECW and stuff in 2009 and he's
PCW, himself. Mate. We saw him shit the bed there, didn't we, Gareth?
No way. Ring of Honor. He's been round the block, hasn't he? I'm with you. I'm
just done G1s.
I like him more than you, obviously. That's not hard. Yeah. But he should never have been this main eventer or world champion. I agree with you all and stuff like that.
Yeah. And again, representation matters, so if that's the argument, maybe. But yeah, outside of that, what are you going to say?
On the Lashley point, because obviously, because I'm not watching WWE week in, week out, I'm fucking dipping in and out when I do. Where would you put him, Matty, in terms of standing in WWE, say over the past 12 months, like 18 months, is he a top 10 guy in WWE? Is he a top? Is
on paper, 100%? Yeah, if you're having your top 10, he's got to be there, and that's what they done. They put him with the Street Profits, didn't he? As heels, and we've talked about it. It just never fit. The fans were cheering them straight away. It just never fit. They had to turn them back babyface, didn't he? And feuding with Karrion Kross of all people at Mania. I mean, he was very much underused by Triple H. He was There's
your argument, isn't it, though, Matty? You should. I want to see him get pushed properly in WWE. There's your answer. Let's just do that instead. If we can have it anyway, let's do that.
And he's one that suffered from the pandemic as well, because that's when he won his world championship in the pandemic. People going about Drew McIntyre there. Lashley carried it. Like, the hair business reformed in the pandemic, and I know it's an easy thing to say, but they did. It wasn't the best of times on Raw then. But they were the standouts for sure. They were like carrying. I remember Retribution and all that. This is the shit we had to live through, Ben. When they come out and basically destroyed them, it was like a big moment, because right, these fuckers are getting rid now, and they just destroyed them. And you could have done that bloodline. And when fans come back, it was like, because when he come back, Lashley, when he's a babyface, he was some of the worst TV you've ever seen, with the This Is Your Life with Sami Zayn and his sisters and that. Remember Max Caster played one of his sisters on telly?
Yeah, I remember.
It was so bad. And then he had a Finn Balor match at WrestleMania for an IC title. Like, it was just so bad. And then as he turned heel, and when the fans come back, because he'd been on TV as this heel, he was took to more, and then he had the Goldberg, the Brock feuds, and he was put in big time matches, and that's what he should have been done, because he improved a lot. So yeah, I'm big on him, Gareth. I thought top 10 guy written down, he should be in big feuds. You know what I mean, in WWE. So I like him a lot.
Could be a podcast, this top 10 main characters in WWE. Right, listing off here's one in there. Maybe LA Knight, Logan Paul, push him out for it.
I like the way he says main characters, because there's no Roman there, but yeah.
Gotta be in the book, haven't you, mate, to be a main character? Gotta be on set for the film, That's kind of the minimum standard there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. What Hogan said in the chat, all that stuff. Yeah, that gimmick with Leo Rush was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. Oh, that's what Tony Khan would want to put back together, wouldn't it? There you go. Sort that out, put that gruesome twosome back together. Who knows? But yeah, like I say, my overall take is that I'd rather just see him sort his issues with WWE and get pushed to the best of his capabilities there, because I do think he's got something to offer, but maybe not on the AEW side. But speaking of people going both ways, and if Lashley's not going to fix AEW's business, I know a man who's going to sort out the Feb, Matty, is apparently Hikuleo was officially signed now, mate. Rejoice. Someone Samoan, Tongan, doesn't really matter these days with them, as signed, therefore chuck him in the bloodline. He can be a member, mate. And we're almost saying now this is Talla Tonga we're talking about.
It's a bad name. I can't say that's good. That's bad.
Everybody deserves a fresh start, is the thing, Matty. That's what I've been told. So I'm looking forward to Hikuleo's fresh start after being the least threatening big man I think I've ever seen in my life, both in person and on New Japan shows. Speaking of the G1.
Do you ever remember Jackson Andrews? He was the least intimidating big man of all time. Did you ever remember him with Tyson Kidd, his bodyguard? That's going deep into WWE law, 2010 stuff or 2011 and stuff. That he was genuinely the most like. But Hikuleo, once again, Ben, I'm not going to say nothing until he's in a new promotion. Honestly, you laugh, but give people a chance in a new promotion. Let's see what they can do.
You haven't learned from Tanga Loa, have you, mate?
No, but he's not as bad as Tanga Loa, is he? And to be fair to Tanga Loa, he's been pulled out of matches, hasn't he? Because originally, did you see the Gauntlet match advertised for SmackDown was originally Gorillas of Destiny, and now it's been changed to Tonga and Jacob Fatu, hasn't it? So they're keeping him out the ring. They're keeping Tanga Loa way out of there. But Hikuleo, let's see what happens. I can see him maybe. The obvious thing is him fitting in on the heel side, but I can see Roman bringing him as a counteract to Solo's bloodline. But I don't know. There's so many different ways you can go with this story, Ben. But yeah, as I say,
they're all good, aren't they? Every possible way.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and you'll say he's good if he turns up in the ring and just drops his kecks and calls out a big turn in the middle of the ring. You'll still say that's good anyway. So.
Get a big reaction, won't he? That's what I'm saying. That's what it's all about. Big arena going wild for it.
He did get better, and like you speak to people in and around Rev Pro, like definitely improved in his thing out here.
So he's young as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's someone who I think we said it when the rumors first came up, like 12 months ago. Now it was like, you know what, WWE system be good for him, but I'd give him the. Didn't really work with Solo, but I'd give him the Solo treatment and put him in NXT for a bit and see what happens there and see if he can kind of put it together there. Or you might be right, it might be like because people have been going, well, it's going to be 5-on-5, isn't it, for War Games coming up, so they're going to have to come up with a fifth babyface for the babyface side, and it's like, not sure they will. I think he'll probably just take Tanga Loa's place, and it'll be 4-on-4. Because who would you pick anyway? Like there's Usos and Roman with Sami Zayn is kind of perfect, isn't it? You don't want to dilute that by including somebody else, so he might just be a way to send Tanga Loa off to a farm somewhere, and he can retire his Camacho outfit.
You just be a manager on the outside, only Tanga Loa.
Won't be a good one, mate. If you need interference, low blows, or even just someone to stand on 2 feet, I think he's going to struggle, So, but we gave him a chance. And that's
no fair play. We give him a chance, and I'm saying now he hasn't lived up to it. That's fair enough now, and we should give everyone a chance. That's what life's about, mate. Giving people, especially, it is. Of course, it is. It's like when a new manager comes in with a squad of football players. Everyone gets a fresh, clean slate to see what they can offer. That's all it is.
That's how it works. I think Gareth's having a couple. Oh, there he is. We got him back. A couple of.
I was just looking for smaller Tonga. Couldn't find it.
You can't call him that, can you, in real life?
It's bad. No, that is bad. Really, that is really bad. Like, that is like, I can't defend that.
I was going to go to the G1 next, but I mean, as Andy asks in the chat there, has non-Uso done anything since Mania? He hasn't, but his brother has, and to tell us all about it, we've got Gareth Hodgson here, our Raw correspondent. We've just done SmackDown there, Matty. That's every notable thing from SmackDown this week, in a 3-second silence, because fucking nothing happened on SmackDown this week.
Did it not know? No. Do you not watch it? Do you watch it now?
What's the full show, mate?
We're heating like Solo Sikoa. You're saying like there's no chance, and
they beat down Cody. There you go. Done.
He beat down Cody, Kevin Owens, left everyone laying the past 4 weeks. We've heated them up. It's like but you know what, Benno? You put it in my mind. You said that these people are saying that he's going to win the title, and I've had a little like 20% in my brain thinking, if obviously Jacob and Tama Tonga are going to win the gauntlet, going to win the tag belts. They're playing off the Usos winning the tag belts in the Bloodline and thinking, do they go full on and have them as tag champs and Solo as world champ for when Roman comes back? I still think Cody will win, but you've put that in my mind and I'm watching it thinking, would they do it? Would they do that? So,
even there, not that you would hope. And that's the protected title, not the fake world title. It's on the other side. But that's the A show, isn't it? I don't know why Garrett's wasted his time on the B show, Raw, from Monday. But I couldn't believe that when the chat came through. Is this a work or a shoot, Gareth? Did you genuinely sit down today and watch 3 hours of Monday Night Raw? Like, what hell is frozen over?
Well, I mean, I enjoyed on the weekend show you giving Matty a bit of kicking about the ratings chat, and it was something that I'd alluded to a few weeks ago as well. And I was just looking at the numbers and just seeing now the fact that they're just down year on year every quarter for the last 3, and I thought maybe the lads just need a little helping hand there, just one extra person just giving them a watch, because this great product that's out there, these great people are on TV, pushing viewers away hand over fist, quarter over quarter, like as we go. I don't know, I just keep hearing about how great the state WWE's in, and how great these people are, the big draw, Drew and things like that over on Raw, but not reflected in the TV ratings. It's kind of reminded me a bit of WCW back in the day, where the ratings were going down, but the crowds were still there. The business was still holding up, but there was that little knock-on effect there that was the little sting in the tail due to come. So just for you, mate, I just thought I'd give him a little watch. Just give him a little helping hand. Either that or I woke up at 6:30 and realised that the kids weren't in school today because it's summer holidays, and I suddenly had fucking 2.5 hours to kill, like before, where I'd normally be running around making like pack lunch boxes and getting people in school uniforms and stuff like that. So I thought, why not throw on Monday Night Raw so we can see how things are going. But you mentioned it there. Obviously, one of the Usos, big angle at the end of the show with that one, or a big angle through the show as well, as Sami Zayn and Jey Uso teaming up and tagging up together and beating the World Tag Team Champions in the main event. Another little wrinkle to the Bloodline story just going on over there on a Monday night. I was actually this is a genuine question, Matty. This isn't me taking this one bit. Honestly, it's not. Like
on the spot here.
The last I knew,
Sami
Zayn was mates with Jey Uso, and he did the dirty on him, and he fucking kicked his head off or something like that. And this is probably like 12 months ago or something like that.
18 months ago, this guy.
Or whatever. What's the connective tissue here? Why are they suddenly mates again? Like, why is he? What have they actually? Is that something? Have they had some like big coming together? Have they?
So what? They had the match at Mania, obviously, and then obviously you had all the Bloodline Civil War where like it was, against the will. Sammy was in Jay-Z and again, like stuff like that. But then the main one was when Jay quit, didn't he? And then Cody brought him back to Raw. So once again, I'm not just saying it, he was given a fresh start by everyone on the roster. Randy Orton come back, he gave him a fresh start. Drew McIntyre was the only one who didn't forgive him. He had a big meeting with Sami Zayn and Cody. They all forgive him for what he'd done over the past 2 years. Drew McIntyre couldn't let it go.
Storytelling this.
This is it. And basically that's it, mate. Yes, Sammy was always like, I know what you were going through and stuff like that. So, yeah, we've got you back over here. And they kind of like haven't milked it too much at all, really. And then this was the big save.
The Bloodline story, mate. They haven't milked it enough.
Well, why wouldn't you milk something that's the hottest thing in the past like 25 years? Do you know what I mean, Benno? So
Punk and Drew.
Don't like that, do you? You know what I mean? When you hit with cold hard, hot facts.
Will you write the book on the Bloodline, as Connor asked you in the chat, like that bloke who tried to make sense of Undertaker and Kane and wrote a whole book about it? Can that be?
Of course,
your job, mate?
It's not hard. I'll say it's family, Benno. You fight with your brother, your best mate, and them again. We've all done it. You know what I mean? It's siblings. It's family, mate. It's the easiest thing to write, really. Without putting this. It's just layered, isn't it? But yeah, Gareth, that's it really. That's me. I hope I've done that justice because there's always little angles, like we were saying about the on the NWO, on the Savage DDP. There's always like a little 30 seconds things backstage of looks and coming togethers and stuff like that. So there's been a lot, mate, in the last 18 months. But they haven't milked it.
No, because I thought it was with the live crowd and the commentators put it over like big, obviously, like the fact that they were actually like tagging again, like on the show, and then obviously they beat the tag champs, so you'd assume that's going to lead to we're having a fucking tag team title shot and probably getting the tag belts, and that's gonna lead to something. And I just thought within this universe, that was just like okay, that feels like it makes sense for people who's watching the product, and I was trying to objectively look at this and think about like if I was, if I'm thinking about this show and booking this show, if I've had a million turns over the course of this feud, here you go, and you're like hearing about you talking about like Roman coming back as a babyface and things like that. It just feels like
emotional moment, Gareth. It's going to be emotional. That
they're starting to put the fucking ducks in a row they're here for, aren't the kind of thing by getting these to team and maybe getting the belts and things like that as a result off the back of it. So yeah, I didn't hate it. Like I did, without knowing obviously the finite detail of it, it just felt like it was massively over. It felt like a fucking big deal, really, that they were tagging at the end of the show, and felt like a good way to close the show.
It's a good crowd, Green Bay, innit? Green Bay, Wisconsin. Always with it, aren't they? Sorry, that was Mr. Hanson.
Mr. Kennedy. But it is, as you say, and Jay, like people might like the presentation as in, the glasses and the over-the-top T-shirts, but it's fucking over as anything on Monday Night Raw and the whole company, to be fair, and getting Sammy loving it as well, getting in that big entrance that he has every week. Sammy's having the time of his life, and it was a good, kind of nostalgic with something fucking 18 months, 2 years ago, but it was a nice moment to see again, as you say, and they're getting them all in a row for when they all eventually get together, and it's, you can't, I've got them, man. I've got that feeling through me that this is just them two getting back together as the proper faces throughout it all, really. Just when Roman comes and Jimmy even comes back, it's just going to be fucking great. Can't wait for it.
You're hot, aren't you?
Look at Benno's face, he's fucking eating this. You phrased it,
guys. I've got this instinct to defend Drew, and that's about to come up. But like overall, yeah. I'll defend the numbers a bit at the end as well. Don't worry.
Don't get me wrong. We went right there because we were talking Usos and things like that, and that was something that was like a positive on the show. There was plenty that I fucking thought was bang average, or I absolutely hated on this.
What did you hate, Gareth? Come on, what did you absolutely hate then? Go from one extreme to the other.
All that Judgment Day shit, like fucking. Is that what they're called? Sorry, is that
the Judgment Day?
Yeah. Running like that, been like the central thread to the entire show. absolute fucking bullshit, mate. Like, honestly, like, I'm not trying to do a bit there on things. Like, just terrible. These terrible backstage angles, kind of thing, where they're having this fucking just like god awful like hammy chat between each other's, like
every
Rhea Ripley
every week, mate.
Rhea Ripley, who I like as a wrestler and I like as a presence kind of thing on screen. She just looks like she's just got that great look, looks like a fucking killer and stuff like that. Can't talk to fucking save shit, can she? Because she's like really like bad the way she comes across on the mic. The whole like just little shtick just going on with fucking Finn Balor wandering about backstage with Dominic trying to like find people and bumping into Liv Morgan and things. You know, that's like obviously an angle that I've seen like on social media like over that time period, and that been like the big payoff with Dom breaking her heart as she's talking to him from the entrance of the arena thing and all that. Like just terribly acted, just terribly worded, terribly laid out. All of it just absolute. It just crap, mate. Absolute crap, and it was just like the central thread of the entire show. I felt like I was like, oh, this again and this again. It felt like they kept coming back to it. I think they came back to it all 5 times during the show. I was just like,
here's one for you.
Like you get this show long storyline and things that people push. Yeah, have a show long storyline that's good and with characters who are good, who feel like they mean a shit. Like, terrible, awful, mate.
See, that's the thing. Like, sorry, Benno, but it's one of them. Like, you'll always throw the stuff at the bloodline that I'll defend, but I think that's got to be aimed more at the Judgment Day. Like you'll say, it literally is the same every week. There's no, and I know people. It's hard because I do like certain members of the Judgment Day. Like I think Damian Priest is probably better away from them now. I think he's done a good job with it.
Getting a live show at SummerSlam, mate. He's doing a stand-up session, isn't he? You know, it'd be great, that.
Damian Priest?
Yes, yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
Yes.
But I think he's done. Is he really?
Yeah, it's like an audience with Damian Priest.
But I do think they've done a good, a better job than they're getting credit for with Damian Priest. I know he's not seen as that guy with everyone at the minute, but I think they're trying. And I think him and Gunther had a good pull apart, 2-part pull apart, didn't he, Gareth? One in the ring and one backstage. I like that. I like Rhea Ripley. I like Dominic. Don't like Liv Morgan at all. I've never seen anything with Liv Morgan in the ring, on the mic. I'm just not a fan. And I know it makes sense that she was, getting this storyline, but with Rhea, the history of the tag team, and she put it out and stuff.
I'm shocked you didn't like it. I would have thought you'd love this. Like this.
And like Gareth said,
it's Liv
Morgan. Yeah,
it's massive.
Liv Morgan's put me off, Benno, because she's shit actress. That's what it is. And I think Rhea's a bit better than you say there, Gareth. I like her and Dom's chemistry. I do.
I thought Dom showed a bit of emotion this week. I think it was actually Dom being good, to be honest, Gareth, compared to normal.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, but Liv Morgan, I just can't buy. I just don't think she's good at all at the thing. And it is getting reactions, but that's based off Rhea and Dom, though, isn't it? And they, do you know what I mean? Carrying, it could be anyone on the other side, really. It could be another female, but I've never liked Finn Balor. I've never been a big Finn Balor guy. Don't like JD McDonough, really. He takes a good bump, that's about it. And Carlito's just shoehorned in for comedic effect. That's not needed, and I like Carlito. So I'm a bit all over the place with Judgment Day, but certain aspects of them I do like. But I agree with you, Gareth, overall, and you, Benno. Every week throughout the show, there's like 15 backstages, and it's like, fucking hell, at least with the bloodline.
They're going to break up. Who's the leader? Yeah. Who's the tag team champions? Who's bringing the belts back to it's the bloodline then.
But the bloodline makes more sense though, Benno, and I'm invested in that so much more because I do hang on to every fucking look in the bloodline, do you know what I mean? And there might be people doing that with Judgment Day, but I doubt it. I don't know.
I will say as well, like, I not to muddy the water because I'm enjoying Gareth having a go at this, but I do see like people describing like the Judgment Day stuff as maybe too close to the Vince allegations, like, and the showing the texts and showing the phone and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't want to give this company the benefit of the doubt because it's this fucking company and it'll come back to bite you, and it'll turn out that Triple H thought it was funny to do that in like 6 months or something, and anyone who defended it will look stupid. But my inkling is it's not on purpose. But even then, they shouldn't be doing it, is probably where I land in. Like, it's like, once you realise it's so similar, it's like, I just steer away from that. I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be bringing it. If people feel like you're making light of a very serious real life case, I just think that's probably just territory you don't need to be in, and it'd be good if they just moved away from it. And that's me saying it as like, again, this might come back to bite me. I don't believe it's on purpose, but I could be proven wrong. But that just gives you a bit of a bad taste in your mouth about the whole story as well.
And I've seen that stuff online, and you just be like, even if that's not the intention, if that's the way that it's making people feel at this time period, then you don't do it, do you? You fucking pivot away from it and do something different, position it differently, and do that. But I'd say after fucking watching it last night, just fucking delete it all, like, off the screen. I don't need to see like hokey comedy acting from fucking Finn Balor and doing his best fucking searching around backstage and fucking little Devlin popping his fucking little head, massive head, like around from the back. Carly, who's sitting there, these little asides doing fuck all kind of thing. Just
how the Devlin forwards?
Who likes this? Like, who? Like, seriously? Like,
they do. Do the fans do? Like, I would have thought Matty would be a representation of it, but they do. Like, they do. They love it.
I'm in the middle. As I said before, I don't hate it. It's badly acted, Gareth. I'll give you that, by certain people. But I think the certain aspects, like I say, Priest getting the world title, I like Rena and Dom's chemistry. I like them as a duo. But as someone said there, like you said in the chat, it peaked at War Games. Do you remember Money in the Bank we went to last year? They were doing Balor and fucking Damian Priest teasing like cash-ins and shit like that, you know what I mean? And he costing him the world titles. And that was like a year ago. It's like, fucking hell, lads. You know?
Snails plays Triple H, you know? That's what he does.
But at the same time, though, Gareth, the opposite to AEW, like written on paper, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. No, I don't want to see it, but the story dictates that that'll be the match, and I'll be into it when it happens. You know what I mean? Because of the story, it's just a weird dynamic overall. Yeah, it's strange.
Lesson for AEW: start writing some dog shit stories, and then people might want to watch the two lads.
Ticket sales. It'll all pick up.
No, I mean, one of the things that you mentioned there was obviously Damian Priest and him being separated from the angle a bit, and I've got to be honest, I loved the opening to this show. Like, I thought the Priest and Walter thing was absolutely, like, class. I thought it was just really, it got me thinking I want to watch that match. And, I've given my takes on the way I feel about Gunter, I should say, like, now, and, the difference in my mind and things, Damian Priest sort of, he is what he is, but I thought that was like really, really well executed. I thought that was something that came across really positive to start the show.
Agreed.
And then that was followed with a match that I was really fucking into as well. Really into. I thought, like, that Braun Breaker Ilya Dragunov match. I thought it was fucking brilliant. Class. I thought I was.
What's going on here, lads? We talking about the right money. I'm fucking got it.
Honestly, at the start of the show, I was watching this and I was thinking, I'm enjoying this more right now than I enjoyed watching MJF against Will Ospreay. Like, genuinely, I was genuinely feeling.
I'm glad you said it and I didn't too.
And then it got to the end.
Yeah,
the finish is terrible. But that's the thing. Like, they've had because I can't help myself. I'll end up watching. I'm up late on a Monday when I'm not at airports. Like, I'll have it on, and like this like Intercontinental division like just doesn't seem to be like. Well, those that kind of work rate, middle of the pack kind that they've got going on in the cards. There's been loads of those matches that have disappointed over the last few weeks that have been, on paper, you would think would be great when you mix up your Sammys and your Ilyas and all of those guys. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Until the finish, this was great, and it was probably the best Braun Breaker has looked. He's looked great, to be honest, on main roster, and I just assumed he was going to fail based on the end of his NXT run. I thought he was kind of yesterday's news, but they've really nailed him on the main roster, and this was a great match for him. Like, I could do without some of Ilya's like dramatic. He's kept a lot of the dramatics, hasn't he, from like late stage Progress, unfortunately, and it's kind of become a staple of his. Everything's the most pain in the world. He has to make all these weird sounds and flop around and stuff.
Really
it's become his thing, unfortunately. But if you can look past that, he's still he's a top level worker, isn't he? And yeah, they had great chemistry. I'd like to see them do it again with a finish. You're totally right, Gareth.
Oh, it looked like they were knocking the absolute hell out of each other. Like, it was great, honestly, great stuff. Like, I was so into it, but then the finish was so shit. I was like, how can you have that and then have that? Like, just referee stoppage because he's his head off a spear on the side of the ring.
Oh yeah,
hang about. They've just been fucking it in all sorts on each other, like on the apron in the ring and things like that. And then you're gonna like stop the match. I was just like, just lame, just felt lame. Like, but he looked good in the end, didn't he, Breaker, when he came in and he speared Sami Zayn like at the end of the show. I was just like, I walked away from the show like, I'm a Braun Breaker guy. Fucking hell, I'm like,
he's going to win the IC title at SummerSlam.
I was like, he actually looks like a Steiner now. I was like, I couldn't believe this. Like, it definitely feels
he's getting
like
better on the mic as well. He's getting way better on the mic as well. Braun Breaker.
If you're gonna give WWE tips to win this war, and clearly they're winning, it's not even a war anymore, is it? Like, it's ridiculous. But like, just another nail in AEW's coffin. Imagine they had good matches. Imagine that. Imagine, like, and I think they've been trying with, like I say, this little mid-card division. It's just not been landing the last few weeks, but like, that's the last domino to fall in it, imagine. And it wouldn't be hard because they've got the talent there that can do stuff like this.
Well, honestly, I was legit sitting watching that match thinking, am I going to have to start watching this every week if I look and it's like,
I'll give you recommendations.
Braun Breaker against, like, is
Gareth,
matches
I've realised with you, if you put it down, if I force you to watch it every week, you'll gradually, begrudgingly half like it, mate. I know this now. This is my new tactic.
No, I tried for a decade, mate.
Did you feel like that when the Wyatt Six got in there, mate?
Oh, what a terrible... And what came before that, though, as well. Like, again, everyone's been banging on about Chad Gable, and that was something, again, that I always liked him as a wrestler in NXT.
He should have wrestled again,
and things like that, but watch it. God, it was, if I talk about the Judgment Day acting being terrible, how fucking wooden Chad Gable was in this segment was absolutely awful. Like, as it went in the stuff with Otis, and like that. I thought really, I was just looking at him. I was just like shit. If this is what if people are seeing the star here in Chad Gable, the new Kurt Angle and all this, I was like, well, I don't know. If this is based on putting him in a situation here with a mic to do something here, he ain't got it from that point of view.
I'd be one of those people, but I can't defend it. Like, this is like, I'm going to blame the creative more than I'm going to blame him. What is he doing in this feud, like, with the Wyatts? What is, like, why would you put him with the Creeds now and have them, like, they're supposed to be like the serious shooter stable and they're
killers,
fucking zombies. Maybe it's a motivation thing, maybe it's a material thing, because I do think he's been good. And the Otis stuff was over, but they fucked that too. We never really got the big moment where Otis turned. We got half a turn, and everyone thought, oh, down the line we're going to get the proper one. Nah, instead we're sidebarring with the fucking Wyatts. It's been unbelievably bad, and he did genuinely have a little bit of like momentum going.
He's been okay.
Character he was comfortable with, and I don't know what to do, and I really don't. I'll defend them a little bit there.
And this is why you can't invest, though. To me, like, this is why you hear stuff, or I watched that first match and I got like excited about it, and you're like, they're going to fuck it like down the line. I've got these are the reasons why I stopped watching WWE, because I had no faith in them like being able to land something like this. You get a Chad Gable who can wrestle, who if he's getting over with the crowd, they're going to fuck it kind of thing. You even get a good match on TV, they're going to fuck the finish and things like that. They're like, I just don't have any faith in them to deliver it on anything like that I might potentially enjoy, and bleeding it into these, like, fucking hell, like, just how I've talked about like that first fucking appearance a couple of weeks ago. How can this be on your telly? How can this be on the same telly that like Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov? Like, how are those worlds kind of thing like intertwined? They're not, kind of thing. It's just it's something to point at and laugh at, kind of, like, not something to be like, oh, this is a like key component of the television. Like, ridiculous. And especially again, like, when it's taken away, it's taking away from something.
You sacrifice Chad Gable. That's what you've done. And it looks like when he's signed the deal, it's like, right, we'll put you in this feud now. Will he sign after the Sami Zayn match at Clash of the Castle?
Someone off, didn't he, clearly, in that negotiation?
100%, like, because unless he's not doing the favour, because they want, like, Bo Dallas in there with a good wrestler for the first match, I can get that, but he's still sacrificing him because Bo Dallas has got to win, hasn't he? So, like, there's no win all around here. It's like, but Gareth, you built it up now. Let's get to the main segment, mate. What did you think of the old SummerSlam 97 reaction? What are you going lads? Come on.
I tell you what, the old CM Punk pops died, hasn't it?
I bet I was eating it.
Honestly, like, he had like the 8th biggest pop on the card when he came out. I was like, oh, I was like, oh, I like it. Like, you know,
I know you've got to retort here, mate.
What's happened to CM Punk? What's happened to CM Punk? That's like legit. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, like Green Bay. This area should be like, you know, that like part of the world. It should be like big pro punk. I just thought it was like, yeah, obviously, everybody knows what I think about like Drew McIntyre, but that should be counterbalanced by my love of CM Punk. You know, like it's Bret Hart, CM Punk for me, kind of thing. That's my top two, like of all time for me. And I'm like watching CM Punk on my telly, and it just felt meh to me. Like it wasn't as good as the Damian Priest Gunter thing at the start. Like in terms of setting you up and making you want a match. It was just like a segment. I don't think Punk came across particularly good. I don't think Drew McIntyre came across as any more than just any other guy kind of thing. I didn't get a real, even though they tried to do the people in between them, I didn't get like real, didn't feel like mega heat to me kind of thing. And I'd say if it was, you know, I've come on here and said plenty that was good on Raw that you'd expect me to just come on and shit on everything, like treat it with a balanced view. And Seth Rollins is just shit as well. That segment made me go from, this is a match that I'm prepared, you know, it's CM Punk at the end of the day, I'm going to watch it at SummerSlam and things like that. But that was a segment that made me think, like, yeah, it's a match that's happening that I'll watch. But it didn't leave me, I didn't come away from that segment thinking like, oh yes, now I'm into this, this is going to be really good. I was just like, yeah, this is a match that's happening, really.
We've boiled over with this feud, like it is like the, and it's for real life reason, obviously the Punk injury and stuff like that. But the peak was what, a month ago, Matt. At this point,
definitely, I was going to say that's the only negative.
The Money in the Bank thing was one too many, with Punk making Drew look stupid. To be honest, watching this segment, like I thought the crowd were loud enough, especially like chanting Punk's name during the segment. I think we've turned the corner with Punk and WWE. There was a weird moment when he first came in where like the more hardcore fans were going for him, and then he'd be in like bumfuck Idaho and he'd get no reaction. I think those more casual WWE fans have kind of got onto it. Oh, he's a big deal from the past, we'll treat him like one. And I think mostly he gets, you know, some of the stronger reactions on the show usually, and does the best quarter hours pretty much on the shows. I think this week's Raw is representative of it as well. No, I'm just making the
I love it. I love it,
to say, yeah. I thought this segment was a bit of a mess because one, I think this has been a believable, like, hate-filled feud. I know, like, Gareth will roll his eyes at, like, Drew's tweets and stuff like that. But I do think these people don't like each other, and you don't get that often in WWE. It's such an anomaly compared to what WWE feuds are usually like. But it's all over the place now, because, like, when Punk got beat up by Drew at SmackDown and he got suspended, that should have been the last big angle. Instead, Punk came back at Money in the Bank and got his revenge, made Drew look like an idiot again. And instead of Drew being so mad over that, he gets in the ring and beats up Punk here. He's the one who's taking a step back, and it's Punk who wants to kill him. Like, it's lopsided, it's the wrong way round, and it's, never mind, like, the confusion with the face-heel dynamic that's kind of been all over the place in this feud as well, because Punk has generally become the dick in the feud. But I think a lot of it is just, like, symptomatic of just going too long with it, and like the match is a week away, so it'll be fine. I think it will be the most heated thing on the show next week, and I think it is the thing that's gonna sell SummerSlam. But yeah, ideally the match would have been last week, the match would have been 2 weeks ago, the match would have been at Money in the Bank maybe. Instead, that's where the peak was a little bit for me. But yeah,
and this was, as you say, fortunately or unfortunately for you guys, about Seth Rollins, really of getting him as the referee. That was the main shtick of the whole angle.
The tone, doesn't he? He makes it.
No, he does when he asks about. And to be fair, it's like telegraphing it a bit, because like this, to trying to sell you that he hates both guys, and he does hate Drew a bit in show, but we know he hates Punk more. You know what I mean? We know he hates Punk, doesn't he, in real life and in the show? So it's like that's a bit lopsided, Benno, for me. So
yeah, and to Punk's point, like not every week is. I'm not, you know, like you with the Bloodline Matty, I'm not blind. There's been weeks where I just don't think he's had the material. He did. I've mentioned it a few times. His little collision run last year, like weeks where he came on telly, and I was like, "You clearly haven't thought this through. You could wing this and get through it." There's been a few weeks like that, and this week is maybe leaning in that direction. But for me, it was more just the fact that they're out of material, and there's nothing else you can say.
Yeah,
they just need to have the fucking match now, don't they?
I agree with you at that. Yeah, they got another one more Raw to go. Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do there.
And maybe that's it, and maybe that's the feeling that was coming through the screen to me, was because I wanted to. When it was that time for the segment, I wanted to really like the CM Punk stuff, obviously, kind of thing. Equally, I'd have been very happy to have massively been able to slag Drew McIntyre off and say that was dog shit, he was awful there, or something like that. But I couldn't, either way. It was just this sort of middle, just this little thing that just happened on the show, and that was sort of probably the most disappointing thing for me. Was it evoked no emotion in me at all. I was just like, this could be just any two guys with Seth Rollins is coming to the ring. That's the way it felt to me. There was just nothing there.
Gareth, can I say though as well, no matter how hard they try to pay-per-view, they're not going to pull that finish off, are they, like the lads at SummerSlam 97? There's no chances.
No one's taking a steel chair to the noggin, are they?
What are they going to do? They're going to try and come up with some sort of convoluted ending, aren't they? And that's Dean Seeger.
It's so funny that, like you said, Hell in a Cell's coming up as well.
Yeah.
Like you said, Bad Blood. He's very clearly, he's like us, he's been watching 1999, 1997 WWE, and he just wants to recreate it. Like, it's move for move, innit?
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see, lads, what happens.
Do you reckon he still mates with Dax and Cash? I reckon he isn't. I reckon he's cut them off like he cut off Punk. You don't see them tweet each other anymore, do you? They don't tag each other on Instagram anymore. I think there's a line in the sand drawn there.
He was sat there fuming when he saw them photos of Brett turning up at Dax's house for his birthday.
Oh, he's hating that.
That he wasn't invited, yeah. Furious. Oh, and just that point, by the way, FTR books, I will be in the stands. I'll be having a drink. I'm not watching that Wembley again. Just to throw that in there as well.
But Gareth, is that concludes your Monday Night Raw segment now? Next week, we're back for next week, are we, mate?
I don't know. I don't think I'll be there. Don't think I'll be there next week, but you never know, do you?
Yeah, the dome show to SummerSlam.
And I've got to say as well, I'll defend them a little bit. Worth reading on WrestleNomics, Brandon Thurston did a bit of a we're 2 years anniversary today of the first time Vince McMahon resigned in disgrace from WWE, and he was comparing and contrasting just business metrics before and since, and everything is up. Everything, overall ratings are up 10%. Demos are up. Mostly Raw's pretty much standard, I think. So it's minus 1% in overall viewership for Raw. So it's pretty much on an even keel. In a world where TV has fallen, overall NXT is up. Tickets are up 40% for Raw at this point, 36% for SmackDown at this point. SmackDown's, and Raw are both overall up when it comes to quarter hours and 18 to 49 ratings. It is. They are still running off that success over the last 2 years. There is a very clear upward trajectory in pretty much every metric with them. And when you're hot, and you can get away with doing 5-match shows and putting the Wyatts on telly and moving the Bloodline story along once every 3 months. That's just what you can do when you're a hot promotion, isn't it? And that is what they are right now.
The definition of cheddared in the top corner there.
That was just for you, Matty. But it's worth reading. I won't throw it on screen. I won't ruin it for anybody who wants to subscribe to their Patreon. But it really does make shocking reading, especially when you look at tickets moved as well. Like, it's literally in the like hundreds of thousands worth of improvements since the Vince McMahon era. And yeah, there we go. They're still living off those fruits. But I think that's everything on WWE. We're a bit all over the place today, which is what we like. If you're enjoying these kind of more laid back conversational shows, let us know. We're going back and forth a little bit, but if that's Gareth's role as the guinea pig over with, we've got another one here, folks. This is the real draw of the night tonight. Which is that Matthew Edwards watch some wrestling for points.
Right.
Watch some G1. What's going on? You're the G1 correspondent now.
No, I don't. It's not false advertising. I've only watched 2 matches, but yeah,
I know you only watched 1, so I'm impressed.
I've watched
all 3 days, so I can give you unlike Wrestling Observer Radio, give you a professional rundown.
Of course, and Ben, I've got the actual 2 tables up as well, which I'll give to the listeners if that's okay by you. Got the 2 standings up as well. that all right?
Fine, we'll do that at the end if you want.
But I've watched, as listeners will know, patrons, of course. Now I'm going to watch the Takeshita matches of the G1. So I did watch his opening first 2 matches against, what's his name, Ben? How do you pronounce the first name?
Yota mate.
Yota Tsuji, because you recommended.
Full disclosure, I did send Matty the nod that I needed him to watch this. He then logged in with Gareth's username and password, which, thank you, Gareth. I'm still doing it. I thought maybe you'd forgotten Gareth to unsubscribe, but it's still there.
Well, you know what?
Zach matches.
Yeah, your favourite wrestler, obviously. I knew that.
Ben, I was shocked, wasn't he, Gareth?
I knew you liked them. I just didn't know you loved them. There we go. But I just thought, and I'll go through some highlights and lowlights of the 3 days and just overall thoughts. But briefly, decisions have been good. Finishes in general have been good, as in who's going over. Not a lot to love from the matches from my point of view, but I just watched fucking this match and just thought, Yota Tsuji, your boy, in there with your boy Konosuke Takeshita. I just thought, 1, I want to see Matty's face watching a Takeshita match in the G1, and 2, are you a gigantic Yota Tsuji fan now coming out of it because he screams you?
Do you know what, Benno, right? And I don't know what take this is, because the first time I've seen him wrestle, he's just a proper early 2000s indie wrestler to me, mate. The combos he was coming out with, the moves.
You mean that as a compliment?
Oh, the biggest compliment of all time. Some of the combos, the back breaking into a face plant. When Takeshi was running in the corner, he put his 2 feet up to catch his head and slamming him into the mat. He was doing a springboard foot stomp. I mean, has anyone ever done that?
It's easy to do it as every match, but yeah.
The gut busters where he'd lift him up, fall on his back, the 2 knees. I had a great. He was just piecing it together. He was going along. It was hilarious. But Takeshita, mate, honestly, ever since, he's one of them wrestlers, and I very rarely get that outside WWE, especially these days, where at first seen him, I thought, he's fucking brilliant. He just looks the fucking part. And he can fucking go in there. Everything he does means something. It's so crisp and smooth. The flying clothesline he does early on in matches is fucking unbelievable. And the spinning Blue Thunders and that spinning Falcon Arrow fucking brainbuster as a finish, which he's won us both matches with. Yeah. Jesus Christ, he's so fucking good, lad. I mean, and I'm glad he's won 2 matches as well. I watched the Jeff Cobb one as well. That was a bit shorter, more of a bomb match, big moves. But he got the win again with that spinning Falcon Arrow, brainbuster. Just... Ben, I'm all in with Takeshi in the G1, mate. What's going on? I'm all in, mate.
I enjoyed Chris Charlton getting a bit of commentary and going, and I've noticed that this is me enjoying Chris Charlton commentary. I've noticed that Don Callis hasn't really referenced on AEW TV that Takeshita's in this tournament. I wonder if he'll reference it when he wins, because he's doing really well here. I was like, shots fired of AEW just not taking it seriously. Takeshita's over here. They should show a video package on Dynamite this week.
100%.
What Takeshita's doing in the G1. I think they eventually did that with Kingston after people bullied them into doing it, but it should be a bigger deal because he's been the man of the tournament so far. I want to skip over Yota Tsuji though. Indie moves, Matty. Tall, cracking smile, good looking bloke. Come on.
Yeah. Indie look, the kecks as well. I mean, the whole
Samoan, you'd have him in the bloodline, wouldn't you?
Oh, he's there, he's hilarious. I might watch him even more. But what I'll say as well, Ben, I can't believe what's going on. I watched it with Japanese commentary as well, mate. The 2 matches. So
you missed. There was a good nugget on the commentary they were talking about, how Yota Tsuji, and I don't think I'd realised this. He was watching New Japan and got into Naito and became a wrestling fan, and they were contrasting it with Takeshita, starting when he was fucking 12 or something daft like that, and getting into it really early. So it had a good story there. But for me, it's been the match of the tournament so far, and that's not to be honest, that's not high praise because I wouldn't go higher than 4 on it. And again, this point in the G1 in the golden years, that would just be another match, wouldn't it? That'd be
definitely.
Goto in match 4 on day whatever. It's not really that gigantic a number, but it was maybe a bit overly ambitious for me in points. There were a couple of spots that didn't come off, did they? With the
he slipped a bit of the top rope and that, didn't he?
But I like that they tried. I like that they tried. So if people were cherry picking anything from day one, I'd cherry pick that and absolutely nothing else. You do not. Well, I mean, saying that, Jeff Cobb and Goto was pretty good too, but it was all pretty picked by numbers. Otherwise, I don't know what else.
I watched that one as well, and with you saying there that it was sort of the best that you've seen. To me, it was a 3.75 star match, that one kind of thing. So it kind of left me feeling oh great, it's not like I'm missing loads out there. Yota Tsuji, I mean, you're saying there the indie stuff. just too indie for me, too light kind of thing. Like, it looks like he should be more hard at it than he is, and especially when he's in there with Takeshita, just at times like this,
I can see that.
It felt a bit soft. It felt a bit too easy. So it's like some of the stuff, but that fucking Bridge in German by Takeshita.
Oh my god,
that was.
He done it to Jeff Cobb as well, though, Gareth. He done that to Jeff Cobb. Honestly, the strength. He honestly, like, I haven't been took back by an actual wrestler like this in a while. Like, he's so fucking good, like, Jesus Christ. Like,
you missed it. You missed it, mate. You could have been in the Frog and Bucket in Manchester watching it a couple of years ago in front of 100 people, looking like an actual superstar next to all these fucking shindy lads around him.
Unlike Shelton Benjamin in PCW, you put it in a shit too. Just to have one more go at Shelton Benjamin. One of the worst.
But in that match as well, that when Suji was going for the spear into Kesha, just wrapped with that high knee, like, as he laid it in more, didn't he, Gareth? Like, as he always does. Just honestly, fucking love him. Can't wait for the next match.
So is the other match you watched then the other Takeshita match? Is that
the Jeff Cobb one? Yeah, that's what it was, Benno. Yeah. So I'd say a bit shorter, a few more bombs, but the same finish. And
I like those ones. I like a short G1 match, and there's been, to the credit of that 3 days, there's been a few of them.
Yeah, what's going on here? Gareth praising Raw, me praising some G1 matches. It's a different world we live in.
But it's been a slog. Like today, I realised day 3 was on. I was halfway through my work shift. I was working from home. I was like, I'll throw it on. What's going on in the G1 today? 2 matches left, folks. Evil versus Sanada and Naito versus Jake Lee. And like, people try and tell you New Japan is back. That's just like a horror show of 2 matches. And Evil and Sanada was as bad as you'd imagine it to be. And Naito and Jake Lee was like watching Naito work himself, because Jake Lee's fucking the shits. But then Naito's like on his last legs, like, to the point where it might be a work. I'm reserving judgment that maybe Naito is blowing his own finish in all his matches, and it's going to be a story that he pays off, like, oh, he's losing it, he's lost his legs, because it was one of the worst destinos you'll ever see in this match, and that's like 3 matches in a row of Naito's I've watched where that has happened. So I wouldn't put it past them to make it into a story if it isn't on purpose, but it didn't make it any more entertaining to watch, because good lord, was that a bad 1-2 combo. I thought Gabe Kidd versus Shota Umino today was good, felt a bit heated. That'd probably be my recommendation from day 3, as far as like bringing the heat. It was on the longer side, like 17 minutes or so, but good. And your mileage might vary on Gabe Kidd. Like, and I go back and forth. I find him cringe, then I find him interesting because he's someone in New Japan willing to put the effort in, and then I go back around to him being cringe again. But I thought he's been good in the 2 matches of his I've seen over the few days. Zack Sabre Jr. and Callum Newman wasn't exactly Zack Sabre and Will Ospreay of your there's something there with Callum Newman, but he does look like a boy in Ospreay's clothes. He looks like Solo, like in Roman's fucking suit. That's what he looks like when he's out there trying to be Will Ospreay.
That sounds alright.
He probably will be, but it's a lot to put on like a young lad. And yeah, I don't know. I think he's in the right place to get there, but we're nowhere near. I don't know if you saw any of his stuff.
I watched that one. That was the one that I thought I was quite intrigued just to see how.
Screams you, your favourite wrestlers, innit? So.
His antennas picked up when you said it. That's always does with Zach.
I was just intrigued just to see how Callum Newman's getting on, because I was amazed that he got the spot in the first place, sort of thing. So I was just quite intrigued and thinking, it's a few years since I've seen him live, and just interesting to see how he progressed. But I mean, you're mentioning Ospreay there, and like literally immediately, I think Newman did like a counter and an escape. And Zach says to him, like, I taught Will that one, kind of thing. I was thinking, like, you've just immediately put that on him as, like, the Ospreay thing. I was like, don't say that, Zach. I know you've been funny and stuff like that with the comparisons, but it just felt like, to me, it's almost like when Nirvana broke, and it's like all the A&R men are out there going, like, right, find me the next grunge band, kind of thing. And there's all these shit. I don't want to say constant human shit, because it's not. But it's these not on the same level people get signed, kind of thing, and it had that feeling of it a little bit like, all right, we haven't got a Will Ospreay, we've got a Will Ospreay at home, kind of thing, and just sort of like plug him in for that. Really, it just felt a bit off. And the reason I watched it as well was because I just thought Zach would have probably given more, pulled more out of him, and things like that. But I never felt like it really. Again, it just felt like a match that was happening. Didn't feel G1 level.
didn't get going at all. And yeah, really, that's kind of it as far as highlights for me. Not much else on day 3 that I particularly liked. Day 2 was pretty much a forgettable day for me. Zack Sabre Jr. and Tetsuya Naito, I don't need to ever see that again in my life. I feel like I've seen it 8 billion times. Speaking of like the Aldi version, Dave Finley's still doing Aldi J White. He's getting better at it, but he's still starting from a very low point. That's not really working for me. It's just hard to see bright spots. Ren Narita's all right. Shota Umino's showing a little bit of something in the matches I've seen him so far. But outside of that, there isn't a lot there. But I will say, as an overall, they are trying. Like, they are clearly... The booking has been the positive so far. Like, you look at those day 1 results, and you're like, oh yeah, Shingo should beat Naito. That'd make things interesting. That makes it. Takeshita going over Yuta Tsuji wasn't guaranteed. I like that. A lot of the young wrestlers have been going over in these matches, and maybe there's an understanding that they need to clear the decks and get going again and get some people hot. That's the big positive I can say out of it, but in-ring matches, not really. I'm sad JP's not here because he's going to fucking love Oleg Bolton's new gimmick when he gets to see him with the fucking weird, with the Russian hat and the bright, he's got blue Tista pants. Like, it's unreal as a look. He's completely like changed everything, and clearly they put him over in Narita in the opening match as well, so they're clearly going to get going with him as well, but... Yeah, it's hard to see upwards trajectory with New Japan. I don't think we need to go over old ground again with it. We all know where it is. We all know we're miles away from the glory period. But there's a reason we're talking about it here on the show. Cause it's not something I'm particularly excited to talk about. And we'll see how I get on in the tournament. I didn't do great last year. Keep it up to date with it. And yeah, God bless people like Voices of Wrestling are still doing the daily podcasts on it. I think John Pollock's trying to keep up. I believe Dave Meltzer's going to try and catch up. But even when you go on the timeline, you just don't see much conversation about it anymore. You see 1 or 2 New Japan sickos who are going to be there to the very end tweeting about it, and not much else. And that's probably right and accurate.
But Ben, for the people that are keeping score, do you mind if I give the quick standings before we move on? Yeah. Block A, we'll work up from the bottom. Great O'Khan, yet to score. On 2 points, we've got Shota Umino, Callum Newman, Sanada, Jake Lee, Naito. On 4 points, we've got Gabe Kidd and Shingo. And at the top of the leaderboard, Gareth, you'd be doing cartwheels down Formby Beach. You've got Evil, but at top of that list is Zack Sabre Jr., both on 6 points, mate. We've got that. And in Block B, yet to score, we've got Goto, Dave Finley, and Phantasmo. 2 points, we've got Ren Narita, Yota Tsuji, Oleg Bolton, and Jeff Cobb. And three-way tie at the top of the leaderboard of Block B, we've got Takeshita, Yuya, Umere, and Hanare.
Yumura.
They're at the top of this. Yumura. And they're at the top of the list tied. So, yeah, there you go.
Thanks for listening to the Grapple Weekend show. Carl Guy, Robert Rocky. No, that's old school. Good work, mate. We'll keep you on it. Wrestling for points, or at least in Takeshita's corner. I do wish I'd done the pick'ems, Connor's pick'ems now.
I do now. After actually watching a few, I will actually,
Let us in late, Connor. Come on.
Yeah.
Scouts Honor, we won't lie. We'll tell you what we really thought we're going to win. We did some predictions, actually, on the weekend show. Just take them our picks. There you go. Done.
And now I've got Gareth's logins, Benno. I might actually watch a few more matches if I get carried away. So
I'll tell you what, you keep watching G1 and I'll keep watching Rory.
Here you go, to deal.
Dirty deal, that, innit? Jesus. Great stuff. Like a wife swap or something, innit? Using the ball like Eric Bishop.
You've been looking through ours next. You've been to Gareth.
Well, we've got like 15-20 minutes of our normal run time left, and not much else going on really. Slammiversary was on. Don't know if anybody had any takes on that. Don't know if you want to talk about the other thing I've got on the list, Gareth, or we want to pretend it doesn't exist. What else do you just want to talk about for the last little while?
I mean, the only thing I haven't seen not much from Slammiversary, but I'm just glad that Frankie Kazarian didn't win that world title. That was rumoured. And your main man, Benno, Nick Nemeth, is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
One of those shift Facebook, like Wrestle whatever, WrestleVision or whatever, showed up on my Facebook today where it was like this big graphic. Did you know Dolph Ziggler this year has won he's won the TNA title. He's won the IWGP title. No, he hasn't. He's won a IWGP title. I'm not even sure if it's IWGP, but okay. And he's won the AAA title. I was like, no, he hasn't. He won the Mega title. But anyway, he's still... There's something there, though. He's won 3 big titles this year. And no one's seen any of them. So there we are. Great.
No, I generally haven't.
I can't believe he didn't put Joe Hendry over. The only explanation... Because I did watch the main event. And I tried to watch the rest of the card of Slammiversary. there just wasn't anything going on. Like, I was disappointed in the setup. Like, they had 4,000 people there, and like Collision, there was a lot of dark lighting. And they did have like that swinging camera that would show you more, so you could tell there were a lot of people there, but most of the shots were into darkness, and it just didn't look as impressive as I wanted it to. The crowd were pretty loud, like mainly PCO, which tells you they've been doing all the flyering there outside of the trainees flogging tickets for the pre-show Battle Royal. But the main event, yeah, it was weird because they had like Josh Alexander like do a heel turn, but then get eliminated. It's like, well, if you were going to do that, wouldn't you have him be the one who gets beat by Ziggler? So that was strange. Like I say, Joe Henry's hot as fuck right now. You'd think you'd put the title on him. Maybe they're waiting for this rumoured UK show, this year, if Bound for Glory ends up in the UK, which a lot are expecting. Maybe that's, what you hold back on. But yeah, Dolph Ziggler as a TNA champion, whatever. That'll put some butts in seats. Is that the old... quote Matty, but yeah, it really was a bit of a nothing show, really, and most people who have seen review it or talk about it, even on our Discord, we're talking some hardcore TNA fans.
Yeah.
Much positive to say.
So you're not checking out that PCO AJ Francis match, Benno? One of your dream ones, isn't it?
I saw some highlights of it and I'd skip right through, mate. Yeah, it looked like it was over, but again, it's PCO.
Yeah, it's PCO. He could be in there with literally one of us, couldn't he? And it'd be over in Montreal.
Be a better match, mate. Yeah. AJ fucking Francis. Oh, he's crap. I say Shelton Benjamin's crap. No, he's not. Perfectly adequate wrestler. He's crap. He's awful. One of the worst ever.
Gareth, you're not going to go out your way for editing off Slammiversary, mate, no?
Well, I mean, the highest rated match on the card is, like, on looking at cage match ratings, is Mike Bailey against Mustafa Ali. And I'm not a big Bailey guy, and I'm not a big Mustafa Ali guy. So, like, that having an 8.5 rating isn't enough to pull me in there. And when looking down the rest of the card again, normally I'll like talk about like TNA or Impact shows, like just having those kind of like early bangers to pull you in, your stuff with your Ace Dawsons and your Chris Bays and things like that. And it looks like they've had passable matches here, but nothing to, nothing that's gonna suck you in. And that main event going half an hour. I don't need to see a match that's fucking half an hour long that's got Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry and Moose in it going half an hour. Just give us Josh Alexander and Steve Macklin going half an hour.
Oh, yeah. An hour, Gareth. That'd be better than MJF Ospreay, won't it, for an hour?
that would have whet my appetite, but yeah, not when the other four lads are in there.
You know what, Ben? I will say I don't want to be that guy with TNA because, like, I know JP's like seen as the one who's stuck with it, but I have at times, like yourself, Ben, and it is the typical of every time it does get good, it gets shit before it gets good again. It's the most weirdest company. No, it is though. I've even given up watching. I used to watch it every week for TNA, and like you've still got the core, like JP always like goes on about. Jordan Grace is there, Josh Alexander's there, Mike Bailey's there, Trey Miguel's there, Ace Austin. The Western AEW for like keeping them in the same position. Ace Austin and Trey Miguel should be up there going for the world titles now. Yeah, Frankie Kazarian and people like that are still going for it. It's fucking awful. Like, it really, just let's step aside and let these youngsters go for it, mate. Fuck's sake. But yeah, that's all I was to say.
Can't argue. I can't feel that strongly about TNA, sorry, mate. But I agree. You're not wrong about anything you said there. But there you go. Reason we haven't fully reviewed that one. Don't think it was worth the airtime. Anything else you want to talk about?
But equally, there could be a pay-per-view next month that looks boss. Like with
yeah.
Exactly. It's frustrating. And they done well with the crowd, as Benno said, but it is down to PCO that, like, but you do want to see them branch out and look bigger and better than they are, and hopefully if there's a UK pay-per-view, I'll go to Bound for Glory. Like,
why is everyone hiring the New Japan Strong production crew? Like, I always hated that with their shows. It looked like the show looked like it was taking place in front of 300 people for most of the shots, and it was like, come on, like, you've got an easy win here. You could play replays of this show like all year and make yourself look like a big company again, But
yeah.
Buried in all those positives. We were positive going into it in that it's genuinely impressive that they do that, whether you get to PCO, the trainees or whatever. There's clearly like an upward mobility with the WWE relationship, even if, us ourselves have pointed out some of the negatives. So we like to be balanced over here. But, yeah. Anything else you want to talk, Gareth?
Are you hinting at me to talk about the Noah show?
I'm leaving it up to you. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I mean, just looking there, and you've got Pro Wrestling Noah coming over here, and you go and see them down the road in Manchester. So yeah, looking forward to going to see all their big names, all my Noah favourites like G Money, Kid Like Us 2, Tate Mayfairs, all my favourite Noah lads. Can't wait. How much is it? 50 or 60 quid for the privilege, probably. Just it's like the authentic Noah experience. That's what I'm looking for here.
This podcast 2 years ago, when we were Noah was at a fixture on this one, that we would have been conflicted there about maybe making the drive to Manchester, but not when you see this fucking show. Like, I mean, progress is progress in 2024. Maybe their fucking sycophant fans and their group chats are gonna love this. But like, I like Ricky Knight Jr., or at least I liked Ricky Knight Jr. Him and Axel Tischer against you've got Kato Kiyomiya and Kano. That's your main event tag team match. You've got fucking obviously they brought over like the likes of Saxon Huxley and Hayata in there against Manabu Soya and Tate Mayfairs, because of course Tate Mayfairs has got to get a booking. Fucking the Lycos twins against Jake Morris and Yohei. Bigger than that, Gene Money versus Masa Kitamiya.
I love Masa Kitamiya. Like, if there'd have been a big Kitamiya, I might have swallowed my principles and gone and watched just to see Kitamiya in a big proper match. Like just.
It's shockingly bad. Like, you don't realise how bad it is. The one singles match you've got there, Taiji Ozawa versus Luke Jacobs. Again, Luke Jacobs could have done something a bit more heavyweight, or you could have main evented with him against one of the big two there instead. That'll be all right. I'm sure it'll probably be the outside of, like, as Ewan said here, Chu and Lacey against Dragon Bale and Alpha Wolf. There isn't a good match among them, and it just. Yeah, we're not going to beat the dead horse, but even the more hardcore people among us who still go to Brit Wres shows have been rolling their eyes at these shows. Apparently, the show they're doing with Discovery Wrestling in Scotland's even worse. But like, this one was enough for me to go, oh fuck, there's a Noah show in Manchester. Forgot about that, and then very quickly we're like, yep, this shower of cunts aren't getting my money.
Like 100% that, but then. Just even that opportunity to see the likes of Keno and Kiyomiya and, like I say, Masa Kitamiya and things, loads of wrestlers who I really like, and try and, you've got the opportunity there to book them in something good, and you book them in something that couldn't look less interesting if you tried, kind of thing. That thing of you're trying to pull somebody to somewhere. Well, it's almost like it's gone down on, like, what is the worst way we can book this card, kind of thing, to draw negative interest, as opposed to getting people to come out of the woodwork and want to come and follow the product. Like, insane, absolutely insane.
That's just your regular Progress shows, and even your shows up here as they continue to bring people like Effie in. I guess there's an audience for that somewhere, but it's definitely not us at this point. But yeah, we'll get you back there, Matty. We used to have some good days out in the Ritz, back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'd say I haven't been to them days, Ben. That's like the book era, that, mate. That's 2018, 2019.
Once we get there in the book, there's a practice show next week.
There could be some Brit Wres in the book. There could be.
Oh, fucking terrifying, that.
Back in the day when you could go to the Ritz and see, like, Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. and Eddie Kingston and LAX and, like, like the fucking Pete Dunne and all the best lads. Those were the days. That was worth a train journey, wasn't it?
Very much behind us at this point, based on that and their other cards. But there we go. That's all the airtime they deserve. Anything else, lads? Anything else you want to throw at us? Wrestling on wrestling before we get out of here. I've enjoyed these formats. Let us know, folks, if you like really. the more open chat. Had a good time. Anything else, Matt?
No, that's it really, Benno. That's I think we've covered it all. Say just that I really enjoyed. Like, I'll go full JP with the plugs, but that Savage DDP story of that Simon pick, King of the Mountain there, like, we had a cracking time on that. I'd say at the top of the show, you've done a good edit there, giving a little preview at the start of this podcast. So long may they continue, Benno.
Thank you, mate. Anything more from you, Gareth?
Nah, I think that covers it. If you're plugging the show that's just gone past, then I suppose I'll plug the one that you are about to do, because, again, as a listener, I fucking loved that show you did with Hamlet last time. Just the energy and just the fucking just enjoyment that you guys were having, just pouring through the speakers, listening to it. So just looking forward to you three fed heads getting back together again.
Well, you're going to be the fourth feathered now, kind of watching Raw all the time, mate. You're easing your way in, aren't you?
Not a
These
chance,
are all
mate.
your SmackDown. Does that make me NXT? I'm not sure what I fit in there. I'm just Drew on. I'm a Drew truther. But yeah, can't wait for that, obviously. Hopefully the second date's as good as the first one, Matty?
Yeah.
A great time with our mate Hamflet as well. And yeah, obviously, can get all of that at patreon.com/grapple. Special request, if you're out there and you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do. Every little helps as far as the numbers go over there. We've done some cracker numbers for some of the videos we've been putting out lately. Dizzying highs there. But yeah, if you like where that comes from, or you just want to watch the video version of Spotlight, you can get that over on our YouTube. And subscribe on YouTube costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps us trying to get over the next big hurdle and the next big hump for us. So yeah, if you're out there, if you've got any secondary accounts, just subscribe on that as well. That would help us out too as well. But
tell your families too, tell your friends too, Ben.
Oh yeah, I know Matty's on there a few times because I see him in the comments under his different aliases. Who followed me on Twitter this week? Was it like WWE Roman Reigns Bloodline fan? I know that's you, Matty. You're not very good at hiding your identity, but you're out there in those comments. We've had some funny comments on the last couple of YouTube videos, so do join the chat over there as well.
And if we're on the shill, as we said earlier in the show, it's 1 month till a live show, all in weekend down in London. So you've only got a month left to buy tickets, and with that one, we're literally like 20 ticket sales off matching last year's sellout that we did. So if you're leaving it late, if you've been leaving your all-in ticket sales late, there's a little late push there. Let's get us to the levels that we got last year. It was great to see that many people. Fucking incredible that so many people have come back and supported us again this year. But don't leave it too late, because we want to hit that same number as last year, don't we?
Yeah, and they won't be on StubHub, folks, so don't be standing outside the end of the building. Actually, JP might flog, or Matty actually might flog you some half-price tickets if you wait for the day, but don't guarantee it. You'd need cash, so who wants to do that? Buy your ticket ahead of time.
I'll have a little card machine there, Ben.
For merch,
Matty will flog your half-price tickets, JP will flog your fake tickets.
And some T-shirts out of his booth. Yeah, that's what's coming. But yeah, you can only get that in person, so yeah, we are excited. It's unbelievable. Just over 4 weeks away, so yeah, we need to get our heads together and get some stuff started for it ourselves. But very much looking forward to the day, so if you can join us, please do. But yeah, that'll do us for another show. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, live patrons, for sticking with us live on this Tuesday night. And thank you to our Kings of the Mountain, Conor O'Loughlin, Eddie Sideburns, Chris Platt, Ewan Cameron, and special thanks as well to Simon Mulvaney for the great DDP and Randy Savage show we did this week too. But yeah, that's it for us for another Spotlight. We will catch you again next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Good night, all.
Ain't no stopping me, no!